Show. This is the Big O 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 Show. This
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Folks, it is time to rock and roll on a beautiful, beautiful Friday. At least it's a beautiful Friday here in South Florida. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. We are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. We're out at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on. We got to get Alarmo there. There we go, Alarmo. Huh? What's that? What happened? What happened? What are you talking about? What happened? Wow.
No, he's being a pain in the ass today. He was a pita. He was a pita today. That's what it was.
Okay. All right. Well, we got him straightened out now. He's feeling good right now. So we are back. We're ready to rock. Hope you all are feeling good. I had to get glasses out today for this one, man. Although these are my Christmas glasses, by the way. The wife gave me some new Oaks. So I got some new Oaks, which needed that. And because last time I was, we have the glare coming off. And I was like squinting for the entire show. I go, let me bring some shades today to the show so we can chill. Hope you all are doing well out there. It is a beautiful Friday. It's a blessed Friday because we're here, right? I mean, every day is a blessing. Thank you, sir, for giving us another day on Mother Earth. And so we are here to have some fun. Got the great Sean Stanley next to us, the Sean Allen. But, for now, he's Sean Stanley. And so you're what, about a week away from the return? No, you're a little farther away from the return.
I slept on it. I think Skylar's going to do it this weekend.
Oh, so you're going to be 2 weeks away from Square Circle Digest?
Nope, I think he's going to go further.
Oh, so we're going to use the house in Arizona, is what you're saying?
That might be where the episode originates from. First, maybe Square Circle Digest comes back in Arizona.
Okay, all right, I like it. And yeah, to a time I saw that R.I.P. to Lisa Marie Presley. That when you were talking about it yesterday, I was thinking Priscilla, not Lisa Marie.
Honestly, when I first saw it, so was I, because I was thinking of Dallas.
Right, and that's why I said she was older than me, and I went in, to a higher age. And then,
when you said yes,
that's when I screwed up, and it's because I didn't realize it was the daughter, bro.
Yeah, Lisa Marie.
Yeah, man, what a shame, dude. Again, in her 40s, right? She was what?
54.
54. I mean,
yeah.
She's young, man. Cardiac arrest. My God, it's just, oh my God, really, really tough. We got a loaded show for you today. Also, by the way, speaking of real tough. Our friends in Alabama, I'm headed there at the end of the month, but I saw up north where you saw a tornado, bro? You haven't? Oh my God. That thing, just the looks of it was intimidating as hell. So some of our friends that obviously went through some rough ones yesterday too, our thoughts and prayers, because I know we've got listeners all over, and that's one of the things I always talk about this show. It's not just because we originate from South Florida. I know that there are people all over the world that are watching and downloading the show and care about all the teams, and sometimes just South Florida in general and things like that. And so they're living in other parts of the world. And so, I kind of keep up with everything. And I saw the tornadoes yesterday. Oh my God, man. It's thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Just, it was a huge, you saw it? You're looking at it? I mean, can you imagine just walking out your door and seeing that? Like, I would just crap in my pants right there. Like, right there. It's, wow. That was just crazy, crazy stuff. So, Kyle, thank you. I told my wife thank you also because she nailed it with these. I said, yeah, these are cool. I like it. These fit me. They go with my ugly look. So it's good. I like it. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, I saw that over in Alabama and have a friend over there as well. I know it's just intimidating, man. Really intimidating. It's just nuts. See, Steve Chapman is in. Jamie Zorrilla out in San Jose, California. Brian Walters in. Nico Jones. Kyle Cockrell. Gary R. Gus 1388. Alexis Palenzuela. All that stuff. GP Trap is in. GP Trap, man, I stayed up, man. I stayed up, and the damn Golden Knights got us. It was a nice heat win last night, a really good heat win. I know, without George Hill and without Antetokounmpo and Wes Matthews. And hey, we were without Kyle Lowry. And Tyler. There we go. Well, I could actually say that one seriously. Dude. And Dedmon. And Deadweight Deadman. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Massage Gun Deadman. Massage Gun Deadman, right?
Massage Gun Kelly. We can make his new nickname.
Massage Gun Deadman. Yeah. Massage Gun Deadman. Yeah. MGD. That's what we'll call him, MGD from now on. Massage Gun Deadman. But it was a nice win last night. It was, I really liked the way Gabe Vincent played last night. That was really cool because, speaking of Kyle Lowry, I'm like, I think he had 6 assists and 1 turnover in that game, besides scoring a lot of points, a career high. What did he score? 28 points, man. That was nice. He had 2 steals, too.
I know on the way back from the casino when I was leaving there, it was like second quarter, I think. And they were 1 of 11, I think, from 3-point.
Oh, yeah. It was a bad. Yeah, what did they score? Like 12 points or 14 points?
14 in the first. It was 23-14
it was bad.
at the end of the first.
It was bad. I was like, oh, my God, come on. They're without Giannis. Let's go, bro. Take it, a good win for them yesterday, man. That was nice. That was really nice. So they're 3 games above 500, They kind of are what they are, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's a good, but how about Bam, dude? Like, I thought your wrist hurt, bro. Like, what? Isn't your wrist injured?
You know what he is?
What?
He's Tua.
Because he plays through it.
He's reading what people are saying, and now it's fueling him.
Yeah, maybe. I
think he's fueling. He's reading what everybody was saying last year about him.
Crap! It took him years to listen to me to go score.
Yeah, but maybe it's like, hey, wait a minute. All right.
24 points last night. Bam again. I'm really impressed with Bam. He has become the player that he needed to become, and to really justify that salary. I'm sorry, you got to add the offensive side of the game, but that was good. That was good last night, and then I stayed up for the Panthers, and they let me down. And it's like, and I'm watching this, and and from the beginning of the game, I sat there and I go, man, how Vegas has just been a much better franchise from the second they came into the league till now compared to the Panthers' entire existence. Okay?
Yeah, didn't they start with the guy we left in the taxi?
Yes.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. They're like on their 3rd coach or something now. Yeah, they don't waste any time either.
They'll use you, get you what they need. And
no. If you're not good enough, you get the hell out of here. Get the hell out.
They'll get all the juice they need.
Yeah. But one of those trips that we go to Vegas, it has to be during hockey season, and we've got to go to a Knights game. We have to do that, bro. Because that, from what I hear, it's like a performance, and all that stuff. I mean, you've seen it on television, but it's like,
you've seen, it's like a whole.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
If you're in Vegas, you got to make it bigger than what it is. It's just, it's in a way, it's like Texas. That whatever you do in Texas, it better be big. I don't care what it is. It better be big. And from the Astrodome back in the days to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium now, whatever that's called, AT&T Stadium or whatever it is, and then Reliant now is even twice the size of the old Astrodome. Gillies, that's country bar, was like, blocks and blocks long and stuff, So if you do something in Texas, it's got to be big. If you do something in Vegas, it's got to be extravagant. You know what I mean? And I definitely got to go experience it personally. But it is amazing to me how I was looking at that. I was going, they're just a top-notch franchise since the second they got into this league, man. It's just, what was it? 28-13-2 after last night. Cats are 19-20-4. I mean, the Paul Maurice hiring has become an absolute disaster, dude. Wow. Holy moly. Leon Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. YOLO game for McDaniel. Unload all the trick plays. Yeah, that's definitely got to be a thing today. I'm sure that you try anything and everything that you can. Tua Time says, Big, are you an Elvis fan? And if so, do you prefer young Elvis or old Elvis? Elvis really, what age did he never really got old. You're talking about fat Elvis, right? What did Elvis die in his 50s? I want to say he was pretty young, man. He was still, the problem with Elvis was he was having a little too many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really old or young Elvis. It's just fat Elvis. That's what it was. I want to say he died. So what? 42? Right? 42 years old, dude. That's not old, man. Elvis never got old. You know what I'm saying? Elvis got fat. That's what he did. He got fat. You want to say fat Elvis and skinny Elvis? Obviously, I know what it's like to be fat. Yeah, I'd rather be skinny. Yeah, I'd rather be skinny. Yeah. Let me take skinny Big O, and I'll take skinny Elvis. Okay? But Elvis never got old. That's not a real thing. You can't say that. See, that's these things that just, as time goes on, people just throw that out there, and it's like you really didn't go look into his life. It's like never really got old, dude. His daughter died way older than he did. 6 years, yeah, with Lisa Marie. Yeah. I mean, really. So Elvis was phenomenal. And I'm going to go with Burning Love, just in case you ask me, and Suspicious Minds. Okay, if you're going to ask me about my favorite Elvis songs, we'll go with those two. I do love his music also. I mean, listen, I'm a 56-year-old man. As a kid, I heard a ton of Elvis, so yeah, Elvis was one of those guys that I definitely picked up on, but I wouldn't ever say old Elvis because that never happened. Jonathan Cagle, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. He says, good afternoon, Big O. Did you get that cater picture I dropped off for you? Go Fins. Oh, I have not. I haven't seen Larry yet, so I have to go see him. I just got here. I literally walked in like 3 minutes to 10, okay, and started setting up. So I have not seen Larry yet. I'll go inside and see Larry. And, Larry's actually right there. Right there. So we will. I will talk to Larry in a minute. I will get the picture out, Jonathan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. Big time. And good morning, Big O. The whole team is going to step up and play their best all-around game and upset the Bills. I think we will finally see the Mike McDaniel gadget plays, no holding back. I'll tell you this. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's a shot in hell, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch it like I watch every single Dolphins game, preseason game. I'll happily watch scrimmages, practices. I'll go to the Senior Bowl. I'll do anything and everything Dolphins related, and I love it. Okay, so that part it's not a thing for me. Some people are like, oh, well, they're not going to win. I'm not going to watch. No, dude. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it no matter what. And I'm going to root for my Dolphins and hope that the best. Now, do I think it's going to happen? No. But I'll tell you this. If by some miracle, by some crazy ass thing, they pull this game off, okay, it'll be the greatest underdog win that the Dolphins have ever. It'll top Rex Chapman's 39 against Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Because that's got to be the biggest underdog win in the history of South Florida sports, right? I mean, we could go with UM against Nebraska, right? Because at that moment, UM was not a national power or anything. They were just a little upstart program against the national power stud traditional powerhouse Nebraska Cornhuskers. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, the Canes were like heavy underdogs in that game, and they won. So that's one of the great ones. And then we got to go with the Marlins defeating the Yankees in 2003 as that's, but again, for the Canes and for the Marlins, you got to a championship game, so you were already pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? But with the Heat, dude, you were like 8 guys. You didn't have enough people. You were in the middle of the trade for Alonzo Mourning, so you had to send a whole bunch of people over. Here comes Michael Jordan, the Bulls, and you have 8 people, and Rex Chapman goes off for 39, and you win. That might be the greatest upset of a team in South Florida sports history that was like really completely counted out. And this is going to be that right now. Right?
I agree. Yeah, because again, they're undermanned. I mean, yeah, they've got some players playing, but they're definitely undermanned. And I was going to ask you on one thing on this. When Josh Allen, and I don't mean dirty hits, when Josh Allen runs the ball, you need to make him pay for run. But if they're going to use him as a weapon, you need to punish him.
Always.
I'm not talking about nice little tackles. You need to in this game need to set a tone. I'm not saying dirty shots. I'm saying you need to make sure he feels every shot that he takes. He needs to make sure that he knows he's going to get hit when he runs the ball.
Yeah. The problem is they don't have the middle linebackers and the outside linebacker to contain him.
Yeah, and then the fact that they're missing their corners and X is hurt, you can't cheat anybody up or even put somebody into.
It's just so much harder for them to contain him than other teams that may be already, better suited in certain positions. And that's the thing, man. It's hard to ask Skyler to be a stud quarterback on Sunday. You know what I mean? And it's hard to ask a Landon Roberts, hey, listen, we're going to add 3 seconds to your 40. Now you'll be able to run with Josh Allen. Ping, when we just throw pixie dust on them and all of a sudden they become what they're not. And it's really tough, man. Melvin Ingram can chase after him and hit him, but if he jukes Melvin Ingram and then takes off, it's over. It's over. You know what I mean? But yes, at least you must punish him. Yes. You should always punish him.
I mean, this game, you need to make sure that he knows that when he takes off, you don't give him the opportunity. You're on top of him.
Yeah.
You don't give him that opportunity to run 25 yards and then hit the slide. You already have somebody near him. And again, hard ask, I know with what we have, but
it's hard.
I just feel like that, if you can kind of establish that and you make him second guess that, at least it slows down that ball.
Although he's fearless. It's not going to stop. He's going to jump over you.
But you also saw what he did because of the fearlessness with the elbow injury.
Right.
And then that does hinder that offense a little bit when you see, you saw the difference in the team. The team still kept rolling pretty good, but that offense is not the same.
Yeah. The guy I would pray for to get healthiest quickest would be X. I would love to have a healthy X so he can, run around with Stephon Diggs and then maybe make life a little easier, but he's not himself. And that's going to be even tough for him, man. It's just, it's been such a frustrating year. Just a frustrating year, man. There was so much hope and it was going so well. And it's just like they told us, you guys can't have anything nice. Rumor has it Elvis died on the toilet. Yeah, he did die on the toilet. Yeah, that's the tooth. That is definitely the tooth. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Morning, I just want the Dolphins to put up a fight and keep it close. I remember Marino's last game when we got blown out 62-7. Run the ball. Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I was there. I covered that game. I was in the press room and everything. Felt terrible for Marino. Just watching Marino end his career that way was unacceptable, dude. Sean, did you hear the rumor of AEW and the Khan family trying to purchase the WWE? To a time we talked about that yesterday on the show, that the Khan family is kind of rumored in there. Sean had a good theory that selling it to the Saudis was kind of like a throw the chum in the ocean and let's start getting the fish and the sharks biting. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I think is going on now. And now you've got all kinds of people. And you're like speculating maybe NBC should be part of it too. And or what was that thing you told me?
It was there was Comcast, NBC Universal because they have Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And then Disney, all the big names are there. The Saudis were, with the report I saw, they were kind of a dark horse. It was, if Vince McMahon just is worried about money, the Saudis is the easy thing. And I believe this is why the cons are now being rumored in here, because again, if it's just for money and you don't want to sell to the Saudis, they're probably the ones that can pay the most.
Right.
I mean, and go from there. And then there was a report today, Fox came out in 2020 and 2021. They paid $196 million for the rights to stream for Fox, SmackDown on Fox.
Okay.
They lost $134 million.
Wow.
So, again, put it in perspective, it comes down to viewership numbers and everything. And lately, the product has gotten better, but the numbers leading up to it getting better, I don't know. I don't know how far back they go looking at numbers and putting a price tag. So that's where I'm trying to figure out and trying to get a gap on. And then I think that's also the problem is a lot of the people that cover wrestling are not business. There's Thurston with WrestleNomics is the one that I try to follow for a lot of the business aspect of it. But he's kind of staying quiet right now. So I'm trying to find out what is the actual, because I've heard a $4 billion price tag thrown out. Because again, it's more than just wrestling. WWE is more than just wrestling. But how much of that goes, because the library belongs to Peacock and NBC Universal for the streaming rights. I don't know if that's cancelable. If that's not cancelable, you really have the wrestling product and then whatever's in the movie theater, the movie library and that stuff there. But you don't have the library per se until that's up. And I believe that was a 10-year deal.
Yeah. Well, okay. See, I don't know. Sometimes you just buy the library and you own it.
I think they have the rights to it to stream it for Peacock. They stream it.
Oh, okay. They don't.
I mean, WWE, I guess, would still own it, but they've paid the rights for Peacock to stream it.
Okay.
So if a company buys it that's not NBC Universal who owns Peacock, I guess Comcast would get something out because they have Peacock on Comcast. You can, you get it with the thing. So I guess they have, that going for them. But if anybody else buys it, I wonder how that affects some of the negotiation price. Because if you can't cancel that deal, that's 10 years. I guess you get the streaming right. You get paid the streaming rights from Peacock, but you don't own that library at that time because they have the rights to stream it.
They have to have the exclusivity at that moment. If not, it's not worth it for them, of course. Yeah, no, definitely.
And then if the Saudis bought it, does American TV broadcast it?
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot involved.
Yeah, I'm sure
funny because pro wrestling.
There's imaging. There's property stuff that you sell. Whatever, hats and shirts and dolls and bobbleheads and everything. Belts. They do sell belts. Don't
Yes,
they?
Yes, they do. So
yes,
it's a big mess right now. And then I think this is what Vince McMahon wanted.
And by the way,
chaos.
And I'm sure they're going to have metaverse.
I think whoever
they have to have a game, bro.
Well, again, this is
would only make sense.
Triple H story came out yesterday. Triple H and Stephanie were opposed to the sale. Now Stephanie was going to be on leave before the whole thing broke, and then now she went back on leave. But I believe that's playing a factor into some of this because she doesn't want to be a part of the sale because she's opposed to the sale.
Of course.
So, and then Triple H is kind of down there because if somebody else buys it, word is Vince McMahon wants to be put back in head of creative. If that's part of the deal, then Triple H is out of the job as well.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, and then the product goes back down the shitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it opens the door for the other services. That's the thing. That's the problem that's going on. You're now open. The other leagues are probably going to go, hey, man, this is a great opportunity for us. Let's take advantage. That's what they're saying. Dr. Dre, by the way, just sold his catalog for $250 million. Think it's low? Well, remember, it's not what he's produced. It's his music and what he owns. So that's probably where it's at. It's not all the stuff that he's done with other people. You know what I'm saying? God. You think about just selling his catalog,
the stuff that he's wrote also.
Beats?
No, is it just the performance, like the stuff he's performed?
Yeah, I think
is that how it goes. Catalog.
His catalog is his music. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and so, but think about this: Dre made nearly, $1 billion just by the sale of Beats and his catalog. Because I think with Beats, I want to say he got like 550 million. Look it up for me. I want to say it was a number like $500 million that he sold Beats for. And then if he's selling his catalog for $250 million, God bless him, dude. That is awesome, man. That is fan-freaking-tastic. And so it's pretty cool. How much? He sold it for $3 billion, but he doesn't get $3 billion. It was broken up into several people. I want to say he got 550 million just alone from Beats. Yeah. So, but it's I think if I remember correctly, that was the number. I'm not sure. You know, sometimes it's just stupid stuff sticks in your head, and it's useless information. I just remembered it now from reading the story of Dre a couple days ago that he sold his catalog for that much money. All right, so we got Ira Winderman at 10:30. We got Manny Navarro at 11. We got Cameron Wolf at 11:30. We got Matt Verderam at 12:30. So we got an absolutely loaded program. Remember, Sunday we will start off at 11 a.m. to get you ready for the Dolphins and the Bills. You get the answer? No? Okay. I know he didn't get I know he didn't get the $3 billion. I know it was broken up and all that. I want to say it was like 550. I don't know why I remember that number, but I want to say it was like 550 million exactly. So we'll start you at 11 a.m. to get you ready for the 1 o'clock kickoff with the Dolphins and the Bills. And let's hope it's not our last Sunday broadcast for the Dolphins overall. All right, let's get to a little Miami Heat. They won last night. That was a fun game to watch. It was a good win, man. I don't care. Without Giannis, I get all of that, but that was a really fun win last night for the Heat. 55 straight free throws, all of that good stuff. Let's talk to Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat, an NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
There he is. How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good, my friend?
You know what? They're winning. Can't complain.
It was a good win last night, man. That was fun. I get it. They were out without Wes and Hill and Giannis and all that, but we were without Lowry and Tyler. Okay, all right.
And there've been
Deadman and Massage Gun Deadman.
That I'm staying away from. But there've been so many games when the opponents have been shorthanded and the Heat couldn't find a way. So Big O, you take it and move on. They lost to the Lakers without LeBron and Anthony Davis. They've had plenty of those games. That's the league this year. No one plays every game anymore. You get the W, you move on.
Hey, I thought Bam's wrist had a contusion.
You know what? There's something to be said about Bam Adebayo and what he did coming back from that. You know what? And Eric Spoelstra mentioned that after the game, Big O. Some players have to be out there. Some players, it means everything to play. You've seen it with some of the Dolphins. They have injuries, but they push through and they show up. Others don't.
Zoe, man. Yeah. Zoe was like that. And I think he's gotten he's got that Zoe in him, actually.
He's a gamer. There are some guys, because of vanity, if they're not 100%, they don't want to be out there. Bam's the opposite. Bam, it kills him to sit on the bench.
I'm sorry, Byron Jones. I'm sorry.
It just kills Bam to sit on the bench in his turtleneck and watch others. He wants to get out there and play. That's the kind of gamer you want. That's what you need to see more of. And he took advantage of the situation.
Yeah. No, I was amazed. That dunk, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
You're going to dislocate your wrist.
Again, yeah.
Well, what are you doing here? And I'm just so, and Gabe Vincent, man, what can we say about Gabe Vincent? I mean, if Lowry, Kyle who? So 6 assists. I think he might have had 1 turnover, 2 steals. He shot 5 of 11 from 3-point range, career high, 28 points. That was fun to watch. And hopefully now he recaptures some of that magic that he had last year.
And now you're seeing a second team backcourt of him and Vic, who are
Yeah.
gelling together. That's what we've been waiting for. That's why Eric Spoelstra has kept Victor Oladipo on the bench, even with others out. He wants to get players in their roles. And we're seeing that a little bit more. When they get healthy, all of a sudden, when Tyler and Kyle go to the bench, no drop-off. Those guys' chemistry, they spoke about it after the game. They're really playing in lockstep right now. And Spo said, look, that's why we ran in training camp. And then Vic missed the first 20 games of the season. Then you had Gabe miss about 8 games because of the knee soreness. You know, this is what you mentioned here in our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports and Wednesday on our redrecover.com Inside the Paint is be ready at the right time. And if you have to sit early so you're ready late, do that. Man, Big O, you could see so many pieces. I'm not saying they're better than the elite in the East, but they're starting to get their ducks in a row. And that matters in midseason. You want to know by midseason, by the trading deadline in February, who are you? The Heat might be better than they were the first half of the season, and they might finally be getting that chemistry they need.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's one thing that you're and listen, the thing that we were looking for is the balance.
Yes.
Because while Depot was out, it was like, well, do you put Tyler back to, remember we talked about Ginobili?
Absolutely.
And we said, hey, listen, Tyler, Ginobili did it, and that conversation never was approached, obviously. And then Tyler kind of turned it up to say, yeah, I'm not going back there, okay? I'm not going back there. I'm staying right here. And I think that's why also, Spo had to address that question yesterday when he was asked. I forgot who asked it, but when he was asked about that, he said, no, we have the roles, and that's how we started with Depot. And I think that you want to kind of keep, Church and State separate there from the get-go, because if you start moving him back into the starting lineup and he starts to get intoxicated with starting, then you start having a situation here. But you're so right. Now, when you start getting everybody else back, if you finally can get everybody healthy at one time, damn it, and have the starting unit, and now that reserve unit is starting to look like a completely different group.
It is, except for backup center. We know the Dedmon thing, even before the massage gun, we knew that wasn't working. Waiting for Omer Yurtseven, maybe Jovic comes around. So they still have to massage that and a power forward. So you're seeing it a little bit. It's interesting. Every time myself or Anthony Chang have tried to ask Vic about going for 6th man of the year, being a reserve, he's not there yet. He's still only 30. He still envisions what he once was. So you're going to have to massage that. Let me ask you this. I asked this to Kurt Heelan Wednesday on redrecover.com Inside the Paint. I'll ask it to you on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. You're Victor Oladipo. Congratulations, Big O.
Thank you.
You have a $9 million player option for next summer with the Heat. Or you can go out and chase money in free agency. I think he's going to go in free agency. He's always thought a lot of himself. So the Heat have to weigh that. Is there a long-term Victor Oladipo, or do they realize they might get priced out of his market? It's going to be interesting. Vic has said all the right things about all the Heat have done for him and how they've resurrected his career. But Big O, you've heard this over the years. You thank teams, you tell them how great they are, and then the money talks. It's going to be interesting.
That's right, baby. And we've been around for all of this, from Isaac Austin to Eric Murdoch to Keon Dooling to Hassan Whiteside to whatever. People have come here to build their value over the years.
Sure.
Yeah, all these guys. Tyler, was it not Tyler? Was it the other Johnson, the kid that went to the Nets?
Well, he signed the offer sheet with it. He signed the offer sheet with the Nets, Tyler Johnson, but then the Heat matched it. So he had that wanderlust. He got his money and his team, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying, that plenty of players have used this platform to get either their games back on track,
correct,
or to just get on the damn radar, overall, and say, whoa, hey, that guy's, a pretty good player. Let's go sign him. And so this is not the first time. And if you're the Heat, you got to kind of balance this whole thing, right? You got to wait till the whole season plays out to see if, he is durable again now. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the key, because every night, I swear to you, Ira, one of the first things I look for in the box score is I go to see Depot's minutes. And I write it down. I write it down every time, 33 minutes in my notes. I have it right here. He's the only guy that I write minutes down just to see every night what he's doing and how he's playing. And to me, that was his first stage several weeks ago, that you saw the minutes building and they were there. The production wasn't there yet. Now we've seen it over the last few weeks that now the production is also there. He didn't shoot well last night, I think, right? I think he didn't have a great shooting.
He started off poorly, but in the fourth quarter, he gave you money points when needed.
Yeah, big time. By the way, he's been hitting big threes lately.
Yes, and he's been stepping into them. So I'm going to give you a math problem here, and I don't know if you have a pencil there or whatever. Here's the problem. Gabe Vincent's also an impending free agent. The perfect math for Ira Winderman, for me, maybe for Orlando Alzagari, you can pay Kyle Lowry the almost $40 million he's due, or you can divide that money to pay Vic and to pay Gabe Vincent and get two players instead of Kyle. So it's going to be very interesting to see, does Kyle Lowry show enough over the second half of the season to make himself that valuable? That's the problem. That's the value, and it's terrible for the players in the NFL of non-guaranteed money. It doesn't work out. You got the signing bonus, you get dead cap money, but you get rid of it. The NHL has a rule, you pay someone 50% of their salary, they're gone. The problem for the Heat is they probably only can afford either to keep Kyle Lowry or to spend that money on re-signing Victor Oladipo, re-signing Gabe Vincent, better value there. You know what? You've spoken about this. You sometimes sign yourself into a hole with these contracts. You spoke about Ndamukong Suh with the Dolphins, and sometimes the huge money player is not as valuable as multiple contributors. That's what we're seeing right now. Bottom line, Gabe Vincent will be a free agent. Max Strus will be a free agent. And Victor Oladipo more than likely will be a free agent. And now you have Kyle Lowry sitting there one more year on the books.
All right. So first of all, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but let's play the hypothetical game right now. The hypothetical game is Oladipo stayed healthy throughout the rest of this season and into the playoffs and played and had a great year. The other hypothetical is that Gabe Vincent stayed healthy throughout, even though health is not really an issue with him. But let's just say he had a great year. Okay. And the same thing. So now they're both set for free agency. Okay. Correct. Now, here we go. Are we going on the cheap route now? Can you do this? Can you re-sign both anyway? Go over the cap because they are your own guys.
And they're going to be over the cap, and they have bird rights, so legally they can do that.
Okay, so you go over the right and you become a tax team for 1 year. And then while you're unloading Lowry, that'll get you right back down again. So you really don't have to lose those guys if you really are committed to winning.
Okay, Big O.
But Big O, taxes.
It comes down to price point. Gabe Vincent is a very nice player. We both agree with that. Duncan Robinson was a very nice player. Then you got to 16, 17, $18 million a year. You overvalued the player. So the problem
that's another topic. Let's just say you can agree to a reasonable price with Vincent and a reasonable price with Oladipo because they both want to stay. They both want to continue what they're doing here and growing, and their roles are going to grow with the team because eventually others will be phased out. So let's just say you can agree to reasonable contracts, not unreasonable deals, and then sign them and go over the cap.
Okay.
So then this will be a major criticism of Mickey Arison if he's not willing to do that.
Let me stop you here. You can consult with your accountant, Sean Stanley. So what's a reasonable first-year starting salary in your view for Victor Oladipo? Throw me a number, please.
What did he average? Give me numbers.
Okay, I'm saying if he gets the statistics that he's gotten to this point going forward, and you have to make an offer to Victor Oladipo on July 1st, spitball me here, Big O. Throw me a number. Your new contract is going to start at?
It's probably going to be somewhere in the 15 to 20 range.
Okay, I think you're right. I think you're right with $15 million. So ding, 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 you win there. Credit to Sean Stanley. Gabe Vincent, starting salary for next year in a new contract. Where are you going to start him?
He says $5. I say $9 million.
It's like the Price is Right game where you can't go over.
9 to 11.
I think
I'm
9 to
going
12.
to go to 9 to 12, actually. 9 to 12 million.
9 to 12 is what I'm saying. That's about the average salary, and that's fine. The problem is, I think Victor Oladipo will chase the money and will chase a starting job because he still views himself as that. So there's the ego element to that.
Well,
but
you
I
can't
agree.
compete with that. You can't
I
compete with
agree. At reasonable price points, you bring them both back. You don't overspend based on what they've done to this point, what they could do, and staying healthy. The Kyle Lowry thing really, really just sticks in your craw because, Big O, it's easy for you to tell Mickey Harrison and Nick Harrison to spend the money. But when you're a tax team, those salaries almost get doubled. So on the books, you're talking about Vic at 30. You're talking about Gabe at 24. And that's where the math, the real life math, sometimes gets in the way. I agree. You've developed guys. You've brought Victor Oladipo back from the dead. I think you'd want to continue that. But the luxury tax, for this very reason, that the league doesn't want you giving a massive deal to Jimmy Butler, massive deal to Bam Adebayo, massive deal to Tyler Hero, and at some point, it wants you to pay the price. And let's be honest with one other thing, okay, Big O? Mm-hmm. You have all those players. So you're bringing back, you have Bam, you have Jimmy, you have Tyler, you're bringing back Vic, and you're bringing back Gabe. I know you're a Heat fan. I know you follow them, but does that still make you an elite team in the East on the level of the Celtics, the Nets, and the Bucks?
No. But unfortunately, you don't have, unless you tell me you can use that money to get someone else, which you can't because Lowry ties you at the cap. So
and you're over the cap and only have exception money. You're correct.
Right. So then you don't have those options. Plus, you don't have draft picks. Right. So then you don't have other ways of improving yourself in trade ways and all that kind of stuff. So then what are you going to do in turn to your season ticket holders? You're going to say, well, we lose Gabe, we lose Oladipo because we're stuck with Lowry. And guess what, season ticket holders? Jimmy Butler will miss another 25 games next season. Please pay up. No, you can't do that, bro. This is why I love the Harrison family. I respect everything that they've done. But this tax stuff and this shit drives me crazy. I don't like hearing billionaires cry poor. And when I hear all the writers and all the people that cover the damn Heat, and every time, so that has to be coming from somewhere where all of you guys are writing about this kind of stuff. It drives my ass crazy.
But
so
you know what?
If Depot and Vincent are gone, and you're not willing to go over the cap for them because you have no other options to prepare the team and be better. And without them, I could also argue you're also going to take a step back.
Okay.
So you're not even going to be as good as you were this year, next year. How do you sell that to your fan base because your billionaire owner doesn't want to commit? No. Sorry.
But your billionaire owner and his son Nick are also managers of a business. So what I'm saying, what I'm saying is they go into the executive suite. And they line up Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Adam Simon, the rest of the front office, and they say, hey, I know we should pay these guys, but you guys did the Duncan Robinson deal and signed off on it.
And Lowry.
You guys did these other contracts and signed off on them like Kyle Lowry.
That's true.
Well, we can't keep compounding our financial mistakes. We are still a business, even though it's a hobby. So I get that. So
and the Harrisons would have 100% right to say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
they're right.
What you're saying is Big O has been blaming all season on our Acura Pembroke Pines, the ownership suite.
No. I blame both. I blame Riley too for as we know Riley's a giant. We love him. He's awesome. But the last few years, he has allowed folks to run the franchise for him when like LeBron tells he gets pissed because you trade Mike Miller or you got to go get Shabazz Napier for him, or now this guy you got to go get Lowry for him. Whatever happened to Riley the hard ass? Like, no, dude, I run the organization, not you guys. You guys play, you guys earn your money. I'll decide who comes and who goes. And that part that has kind of softened on Riley, that's actually been a detriment to the organization, that he hasn't been the hard ass that he's always been throughout his career.
And I agree. And he's gotten very sentimental with his players. The Heat have fallen in love with their prospects. But you know what? And even guys like Duncan Robinson, prospects, if you're hopefully you're watching, start down here and maybe move to a middle level. Very rare is the prospect who starts down here and becomes a superstar, the undrafted player, the G League player, Caleb Martins, guys like that. They have a level, where they'll meet their level, where water will meet its level. And the Heat still continues to hope to get more. And it's great to keep developing. But at some point, you've got to realize there's a certain level. The other part is overstating the older player's ability through conditioning and drive to continue, like a Kyle Lowry, where he's leveled off, and he's probably right now not in the top 20 point guards in the NBA. So you got stuck there also. But
he might not be top 10, he might not be top 10 in the G League.
Well, I'm not going that far because that's ridiculous. But what I'm saying is the Arisons have provided the money. Big O, they are always operating above the salary cap. Always way above the salary cap. The luxury tax is a different threshold. It comes with other penalties, including down the road when you're trying to protect the future for Tyler Hero and for Bam Adebayo. That's why when you talk about great organizations, you have to have great players, great coaching staff, great front office, great ownership. And you can see if even one of those four is off a little bit, you wind up staggering a little. I think that's where the Heat are right now. They are very good across the board. Arison's great owners.
Wasn't the ownership group the part that kept the other Tyler?
Which Tyler?
The Johnson Tyler, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
Wasn't that the story that Mickey was in love with the kid and he said no?
I think that's been mistold by some of these people. I think that's a matter of Mickey telling Pat, if you really believe that you can do that. I don't think the ownership group was overwhelmed with that. I think it was another emotional.
I've never really heard of Mickey meddling. Like
he doesn't, but he sets guidelines, and Nick Arison sets guidelines, and he says, look, there are basketball practices and there are business practices. Let's make both work so we can remain viable and strong going forward. That's good ownership. That's good management. Your mistakes cannot be compounded. There's a saying in sports, you don't chase lost money. Hey, you made a mistake with Kyle Lowry. That doesn't mean that you can't be afraid to sign someone else. But they work together. It's a salary cap league. It's a luxury tax league. It's a salary cap exception league. You only have so much money to spend. All the people early in the year, you blew it. You didn't bring back PJ Tucker at 36 years old and give him $30 million. No, you brought back Caleb Martin at 26 and gave him $20 million. And in the end, that'll work out. So you have to work in lockstep with all the groups also.
Yeah, just don't play him at power forward, the poor kid.
Hey, 6'5", he's taking his bumps and he's still coming back for more. He has that kind of spirit.
What a tough kid, bro. I feel bad for him. I mean, I'm glad he got his money, but damn, here's your money. By the way, we're going to put you somewhere where you really don't belong and you're going to take a beating. Play power forward. Huh?
Right. As soon as Sunday, Caleb meet Giannis. Giannis meet Caleb. Exactly. On Saturday, rather. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we get Milwaukee again. At least we'll get Giannis on Saturday, right?
Completely different game. I'm working on a story in the Sun Sentinel about that. Last night's game, Thursday night's game, will not resemble Saturday at all. Chris Middleton is expected back. Wesley Matthews, completely different playing style. I think the Heat will have players back also, possibly Caleb, possibly Tyler. So what you saw on Thursday, you won't see on Saturday.
Every time I see Wes, I just think of his dad. Every time. And I can see him in a Lakers uniform, dribbling his way out of bounds or out of a play or something. I used to call him out of control Wes Matthews. That was my nickname for him. So there you go. All right. Remember, it's MGD now when you address him. When you walk up to Dwayne, you say, MGD, how you doing? And when he looks at you, say, MGD, yeah, Massage Gun Deadman. Okay, so that's the new name now, MGD. You good with that?
You talk with a lot of confidence, but you actually stand in front of the opposing Dwayne Dedman and say that, and then we'll discuss the nickname.
You know, if I was in there for a couple of weeks, you know that I'd end up screwing with him like that. You know that, right? I'd end up doing it. And then you
wouldn't be back for the next couple of weeks, but you'd be recovering in the ER.
Yeah, but it would be in a joking manner. By the way, does he have a sense of humor? Is he kind of or is he a total stiff in the locker room? Is he kind of all Mr. Serious?
He's been fine with me, but he has a knack of getting irascible. And just like all of us guys who are married and have wives, you have to know the moment when you can joke and kid and the moment when you just stay the hell clear.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he's one of those kind of, yeah. So then I wouldn't be able to get that far with him, unfortunately. No. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't have a sense of humor about the massage gun.
I'd be careful, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, some guys, you can end up joking with them after those kind of incidents. They'll laugh about it after. But all right, I guess he's not that guy. All right. What do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel again? Tell him.
Well, I just finished a fun little story. Pat Connaughton, first play of last night's game, gets a margarita dripped in his eyes. He has it all over his uniform. The salt gets in his eyes. Fouled on a 3-shot foul by Hayward Highsmith, makes only one free throw. He spoke about he's never experienced that before. He's not a drinker, didn't even know what's in a margarita. Now he has the full ingredients mix on his Bucks jersey. So I sort of went back and reflected on that moment. Later, I'm going to post a story about how Sunday's game, like I said, had nothing to do with Thursday. Completely different look probably for both teams. And in my Ask Ira, we spoke about the combination of Oladipo and Gabe Vincent, how it's working so well together. Can that become a thing over the second half of the season?
And by the way, why was he cleaning his face with a margarita?
You know what? Once it got spilled there or whatever, you might as well take all the lime into account and enjoy the moment. So
I thought he was just saying it's water and oh God, it's a margarita. And then there you go. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Catch you Monday in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, baby. There you go. The great Ira Winderman. All right. That is our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, Mr. Sean Stanley, where do you think Bitcoin is at right now? Huh?
I think you were trying to do the show until it got to 19, because at 6:57, it hit 19.1.
Right, but it went back down.
Did it go back down? Oh, okay.
It went back down to 18.8, 18.9 during the night.
Well, I'm thinking with your expression, it's back above 19.
19,253, baby.
There we go. And it was 400 million for Dr. Dre. I found an article.
He got 400 million? Okay.
Yeah. And also, I don't know how it went. It was 2.6 billion cash.
Right.
For the company, and then 400 million in shares. So they still have shares of Beat as well.
Right, exactly. There were several people that there were a couple other famous people that made money with him on the Beats thing. I forgot who it was, but there were a couple of other people. But for those of you that, of course, are hanging in there in the crypto ways, like yours truly, Bitcoin, baby. And let me tell you something. I am shocked with this pump. To me, this might even be a fake pump, because we're not economically, we're not out of the woods yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but then again, inflation is going down. We'll see. But Bitcoin is climbing, dude. 19,260. That is freaking awesome. And let me give you some of the others that are going on. Gala's up 6%. Avalanche is up 5%. ApeCoin up 3%. Let's see. Polkadot up 4%. That guy there, his wife may not be as mad. Decentraland, those of us that are into Mana, it's up 12%. Been waiting on that. I actually picked up Mana the last couple of days because everything else was so green. Mana had not climbed yet. And I'm a big Decentraland guy. And I said, you know what? Let me get a little more Decentraland right now. And actually everything that I invested in has already gone up a little bit. So that is very, very good. I am loving what I'm seeing right now in the market, man. Woo, doggy. That's a beautiful thing. Steve Chapman, thank you for the love on Venmo. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can also make a Bitcoin donation. I loves me some Bitcoin donations. Steve says, Big O, if I win the $1.3 billion drawing tonight, I'm going to fly you and Sean to Massachusetts to broadcast the show from my house. Well, thank you. Damn. It's very nice of you. Appreciate you. That'll be fun. Have you been to Boston? You have? Okay. All right. Cool place. Oh, you ate at Wahlburgers there, huh? All right. I ate at the Wahlburgers in Coney Island. So that's
The Wahlburgers right by Fenway.
yeah. There's a where you and where for those of you that if you ever go to Coney Island, and if you're a fan of the movie Warriors Come Out to Play, if you love the Warriors movie, where you go to Wahlburgers on Coney Island, literally next to it, there's a store that has all kinds of Coney Island stuff that you can buy, but it also has a section that is just dedicated to the Warriors. Shirts and hats and pins and whatever, all kinds of stuff and jackets and all that has the Warriors stuff on it. So just in case, if you're into it, because as you all know, fictitiously, the home of the Warriors was Coney Island. And if you ever go there to go visit and you remember the movie, those of you that are old enough, obviously, if you're young, you don't really associate Coney Island, the Warriors. It's not something important to you. That's more for older people that kind of experienced the movie and love the movie. It's kind of a cult classic. In other words, that's what would you call the Warriors a cult classic? Right? Hell yeah, right? And I would suggest if there's young people out there, if you have not seen the Warriors, yeah, dude, you gotta watch it. Supposedly they made a newer one, because they remake everything nowadays since they have no imagination whatsoever in Hollywood. They've got to remake everything. Anyway, what's that? I think they called it. I think it might have even been called the Warriors too. Yeah, not Warriors 2. I mean Warriors also. So yeah, I think. It's a TV miniseries. Wow, when's it coming out, or is it out? By the way, if you ever want to, you should watch the documentary on all that, because they had to film a lot of stuff illegally because they didn't have the money and the budget for the permits on a lot of the stuff that they were doing all around New York City. And they would run into like real gangs because they were like filming scenes, and like real gangs were like, and like, no, we're not gangs, bro. We're actors, Apparently, Cyrus is a former gang member. The guy that did Can You Dig It? Look here, we have the Jones Street Boys right next to the Vancouver whatever. And no one's wasting no one. That is a miracle. Apparently, the guy they hired to play that role did not show up that night for the filming. So they found a current gangster that was like hanging around that kind of looked the part, and he played it. I think that's how it goes. I think that's how the role goes, that the guy that actually plays Cyrus is like a former gang guy. And so, yeah, one of those, the Van Cortlandt Rangers. That's it. There you go, David. I like it. That's right. Yeah. So what's the deal?
There's different stories, so I don't want to say
it wasn't finalized or something, because I know
there was one that says it wasn't finalized. Then there was one that says Australia made one for like an 8-part. So it's then another one says you can watch it on Amazon or Paramount Plus, but when you look at it, it looks like it's the movie. So there's so many different like stories in there. I don't know 100%. As of right now, it doesn't look like there was a remake. There was one talked about, but nothing made.
You can't make it in Australia. Sorry. Okay, you just can't make the Warriors in Australia. Come on, mate. We got to make it back to the Coney Island. No. Nothing against our Aussie friends. We love you. Okay? We love you. You can bring out, no, that's a knife. That's all right. We're good with that. That's where it ends. Now that's a knife. Give me the wallet. Give him the wallet. He's got a knife. That's not a knife. This knife. It's a great scene. Yeah. Half the people don't know what I'm talking. That's true. But maybe more than half don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you're going to redo the Warriors, it's got to be the same kind of deal, bro. It's got to be New York, nowhere else. Notice when they escaped from New York and then they tried to do Escape from LA, it did not work. All right? It was a terrible movie. Nobody watches Escape from LA. That's like, that's like Fletch Lives. You don't watch that, dude. Meatballs 2. Come on. What's wrong with you? You know that? No. The Warriors has to be filmed. So if they ever redo it, which I hope they don't because you really can't. All these remakes, man, they fail every single time. The original is only the one that's worth it. And we have an original coming up to start off hour number 2. His name is Manny Navarro, and our Canes wear Miami Hurricanes. Report.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. There he is. Yes, sir. Am I right or am I wrong here? If you're going to remake the Warriors, it has to be in New York.
Yeah, of course. You got to do it in the right place, man. No doubt.
Can't be in Australia. They're trying to make the Warriors in Australia.
That's just because that's where they make all the movies now, right?
Right. And like when Snake Plissken was escaping New York, that was cool, right? But LA, come on, bro. You know, wasn't he like surfing a shark or something on
it was
from LA or something? I forgot. But
it was a wild movie.
Yeah, that was bad. It was bad. Yeah. Nowadays, bro, they have no creativity. All they do is make everything, remake everything.
Yep. It's all about branding.
All right, so let me go through this. Mm-hmm. So this Rashada kid,
yep,
he said Florida has it all, and they're gonna come through with their commitments, and I know this, that, and so now, well, I guess the NIL commitment didn't come through, and then he's gonna back out of this, or what's going on with this whole mess?
Yeah, well, to sum it up pretty simply, somebody got screwed here, and I think his name was Jaden Rashada. Basically, what happened is he agreed to a certain dollar amount right before signing his national letter of intent. The way the rules work, you can't collect any of that money till you're on campus, right? So he signs the deal, assumes he's going to make X amount of money, and then he signs the national letter of intent. He's going to go to start classes, and all of a sudden, the Florida Collective's like, no, we're not paying you that much money. And this is just the way that NIL is sort of shaped up to be. In a sense where you have to believe that this is what you're agreeing to and this is what you're going to get. And the reality is those collectives ultimately can do what they want because nothing can be official anyway until you're on campus. You can't sign a real deal and get paid for it until you're on campus. So,
well, that's a bad look for Florida, bro. Because now Miami and Florida State are going to use that against them and say, hey, man, they might tell you they're going to pay you this, but you see what happened in Rashada? They told him one thing, and now they pulled the bait and switch on him. That's also not going to be a good look for Florida if that's the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, none of this stuff ever makes them look good, but we live in a spin zone society, and the fact that all of this is hidden behind the scenes, it's a he said, she said type scenario, right? Nobody ever sees the contract. Nobody ever gets to see the actual information on all this stuff because it's done illegally, right? And you're not supposed to be inducing kids with NIL rather before they sign the NLI. It's supposed to work the other way around, but that's what happens when you create a dumbass setup for this whole thing. To me, let's be real. It's all about inducement. That's what all of this is about. You're all about trying to bring in the best players. And the only way you can really dangle that carrot is before they sign a national letter of intent. They can get in the transfer portal and transfer, but that's a whole nother headache that these guys don't want to deal with. And I think Jaden Rashada, ultimately, you read the tea leaves, he wasn't happy with whatever it was that they did offer him once they changed the offer. And that's why he's still looking for a place to go.
Is Miami going to be still an option?
No.
Okay.
No, I think Miami's moved on from that a while ago. I had some pretty funny emojis tweeted at me in response to what happened with Florida and Rashada from some people on staff over there at Miami. So they kind of were like, hey, this is what you get, bro. Like, this is kind of your consequence. You wanted to flip schools, that's fine.
Okay, and so Cormani, what's going to happen with him? Because what happened with Rashada, this is going to be, kind of a thing, a sign of things to come now.
It's all negotiation, man, right? I mean, the player ultimately, they have the most power before they sign the contract, before they show up to classes. And again, nothing is binding until you step on campus. So he can ask, like in Rashada's case, he can ask for a release from his scholarship and sign with somewhere else. Once you step foot on campus, then you set in motion other headaches. You're allowed to do the one-time transfer, but it's still a headache to have to go through that process. You're still locked into an NIL deal with that school until things are wrangled out. So in Cormani's case, I think, it's pretty easy to see his situation, right? He wasn't sure if DVD, his favorite coach, the one that he has a bond with, is he still going to be at Miami? He wasn't going to enroll early anyway. He couldn't get into campus early because his grades and his academics weren't necessarily ready to go. And then, there's always holding out for more money. Hey, I could put more pressure on Miami by not signing. So those are all reasons in my mind why somebody like Cormani McClain would wait to sign, because if you're not going to enroll early anyway in January, then you don't have to push it. You're gonna end up enrolling in classes in the summertime. You have more time to see if you can squeeze more money out of an NIL collective. So I think ultimately here, we'll see what he decides on Sunday. I know that there's not going to be a ceremony. I reached out to somebody at Lakeland. I said, is there any sort of ceremony? I guess not. I don't know if it's just going to be an announcement on Twitter, on social media. If his mom's going to take a picture of him holding a different hat on his head, who knows? I just know ultimately he can't really sign until February 1st anyway. That's when the next signing period technically opens up. So, whatever he signs on Sunday, a financial aid agreement, that's non-binding. So to me, Sunday will be the day he says something, but really the day that we know where Cormani McClain is going is in the summertime when he's actually in class at a university.
Right, exactly. And do you have any feeling on it?
Again, I reported what he told me from our conversation in Orlando. My feeling on it is I think Miami remains the leader because they've got DeMarcus Van Dyke on their staff. I think the best payday for him is probably at Miami, but you can never rule out Alabama. You can never rule out Deion Sanders in Colorado. And so we'll see what happens on Sunday. But, again, until he's on campus in the summertime, I think all of us need to stop hyperventilating over this kid.
No, I'm with you there. Somebody's asking, do you think NIL will affect the talent of NFL players, that a lot of athletes don't want to go to the next level because they got paid big in college? I don't think that's going to be much of the case, to be quite honest with you, because here's how I'm going to look at it. Here's pretty easy. The knuckleheads will be weeded out quickly, and the guys that are really good and they're going to make it through 3 to 4 years. You follow me on this. You tell me, because you follow this way more than I do. Mm-hmm. But just from that question, the quality kids that survive 3 to 4 years and they're making their money, those kind of people are already going to be thinking about the next level, and they're going to be well prepared for it instead. I don't think you're going to get a lot of the jerks overall. Right. Those kind of kids may not make it through the whole thing. Like a Rashada, with all this hype and all this talk, and this kid's more focused on money than on football, then all of a sudden he's going to be focused more on social media than football, and he's going to be focused more on other sponsorships than football. And those kind of guys will fall by the wayside. The quality individuals are the ones that are going to stay with programs for a while. They're the ones that are going to earn money, and they're the ones that are going to set themselves up. But very few of them, brother, you're always going to have an Eli Manning and a who's the other guy? Oh, John Elway. Mm-hmm. You're always going to have some of those guys that are going to say, oh, I don't want to play for you. That's always going to happen every once in a while. I don't think the NIL is necessarily going to induce that thing to happen more often, let's just say.
No, I agree with you. I think, look, the bottom line is, and to your bigger point about whether or not this really affects guys and their motivation or whatever to get to the NFL, I think the guys that really want to get to the NFL are the ones that have always been the hardest workers, who have always been super focused on their career. And, I've had the chance here to speak to a lot of coaches, not just Miami related. I'm more of a national guy now in that sense. So, I've talked to high school coaches. I've talked to kids from all over the country, all over the East Coast, West Coast here in the last couple of weeks about NIL. And the sentiment is a lot of these guys didn't take the biggest offer. Okay. They didn't go and sign with the school that offered them the most money. Exactly. In the end, it was a combination of, hey, can this school get close enough, or is it a good amount where, hey, that's good enough for me, and I can still go play for the best coach and the best team that fits me. So I think in the long run, the kids who have their heads screwed on right and aren't just focused on money, those guys are still going to make the NFL no matter what. I just think there's a lot of other guys, okay, and this has been going on for decades, well before NIL, who use their athletic talents just to get money or just to get into school or just to take care of their family any way they can, and they don't care about making it to the NFL. There's always going to be those guys too. So that's the tough part.
By the way, one more thing for that guy there, Breezy 305. The guy that at the end of the run wants to act like a jerk, that guy's not going to have any money in the bank anyways. Usually those guys are a disaster and they're spending money and they're just throwing it away and all that stuff.
Smoking weed all day, doing whatever.
Right, exactly. like the kid I bet you in Alabama, the quarterback who's going to make a lot of money, but he's a quality individual. You can see. Now, you can argue whether you think he's tall enough or big enough for the next level and all that other stuff. That's the football talk out of it. But that's a quality individual, and he's probably made a lot of money at Alabama. That guy is not going to be a problem for the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Per se. Now, Jaden Rashada, he's already starting to look like that kind of problem down the line already, because once you start talking about it's all about money and not about the program and not about – so you've already dissed Florida and Miami, two excellent programs. So where are you going next, dude? Oh, because it's all about the money. It's not really about the program. Those kind of guys will weed themselves out. That's the way I kind of look at it.
Right. I think, and the other side of that, is, this is just free agency, right? NFL free agency at the high school level. That's all this is. And unfortunately, you're dealing with parents and kids who don't necessarily have Drew Rosenhaus or some of the more professional guys that are agents dealing with them, right? They don't have those guys involved in this process, helping them guide through negotiations. It's kind of them on their own. And if they do hire a lawyer, I mean, how much experience do they really have with any of that? The kids are young. They're 17, 18 years old. They're not in their early 20s. They haven't lived through the college lifestyle yet. So this is going to happen more and more. And the fans of teams just have to be patient and realize that the way teams are constructed nowadays, it's almost better in some regards, to honestly take transfers, because those guys, they know what they want. They want to get to the league. They're leaving the school, the college that they're at. They learned what didn't work for them, right, at their previous school, and they're highly motivated to do whatever the hell the next coach wants because they want to get to the league. They want to get paid.
That's a great point.
So to me, that's what's going to happen when you deal with high school kids. They're told for a long time that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Everybody calls them. Where are you going to school? Where we want to know. All the recruiting websites call them 24 hours a day. What's going on? And then all of a sudden, you get to the payday, to the most important moment where you got to sign the document and start enrolling classes. And hey, guess what? What you thought was coming wasn't coming. And you just have a tough situation for families and kids to deal with. And so it's complicated, it's crazy, but it's the sports world we live in now.
All right. By the way, we want you to follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro, and more importantly, subscribe to The Athletic. And one of the articles you wrote in The Athletic is you were going over Miami's roster. Quarterback, I think defensive tackle were areas you are not satisfied with, let's say.
Yeah, I think cornerback and defensive tackle are two areas that I still think they've got to go out and sign a number one type player if available through the portal. I think also wide receiver, that's probably the biggest one as well. Those three positions, I look at this roster and I say, who's the true number one guy? At cornerback, they went out and they got Devontae Brown, who is a 3-year starter at UCF. I like the kid. I think he's going to be a solid player, but is he a true number one cornerback at the ACC level? Is he a guy who can cover the best receiver and compete with him? Maybe not shut him down, but at least give you a fighting chance. I'm not sure. And then you got a couple of other guys that are returning on this roster that, to Corey Couch, for instance, who's more of a slot guy. He's not really an outside guy. And this is a secondary that gave up a ton of plays. So to me, that's important. And then from a defensive tackle standpoint, Darrell Jackson was lost to Florida State. There was a report out there that he was thinking about potentially coming back to Miami. That didn't happen. Miami signed a 3-year starter from Purdue who's 6'2", 280. Darrell Jackson, a bigger individual than that. Just a guy that fills a hole and really helps a kid like Leonard Taylor at the defensive tackle spot get to do his thing. So Miami's smaller at the defensive tackle position. They're not as deep as they were before. So to me, that's another area. And so, and then outside receiver. I mean, that was well documented. How many breakdowns at the wide receiver position. Colby Young came in and did a good job, but is he a true number one? Is he a guy that's going to take the top off of a defense and help Tyler Van Dyke throw the deep ball the way he could with Charleston Rambo? So to me, those are the three biggest positions where I'm still looking at this roster and I'm saying, man, they're missing guys, and why I say they can't win probably more than 7 games with the roster they have.
It's crazy. By the way, what's happened to the wide receiver spot at the University of Miami, bro? Yeah. I mean, this team just they handed the NFL first rounders all the time. What happened, dude?
Yeah, I think you just have a bad run. I mean, Curtis Johnson was here for a long time with Larry Coker, right? And Curtis Johnson ended up going to the NFL. He's working with the Saints. You had a professional wide receivers coach, and then you've just kind of had a merry-go-round at that position. And recruiting-wise, they've gotten a couple of kids to stay home, but not the kind of guys who were ever going to develop into elite wide receivers, like kids who left here and went to go play for Ohio State or went to go play for Alabama. Those guys, the Jerry Judys of the world, the Amari Coopers of the world, all the South Florida-based standouts who have gone on to have good NFL careers, they left town because Miami wasn't winning. So you have to get back to recruiting that position elite level. The last couple of guys that Miami's gotten that have been any good at it have come through the transfer portal. KJ Osborne, Charleston Rambo, who they plucked out of Oklahoma, who didn't make the NFL, but I thought was a fabulous college, number 1 type receiver for Miami. So, in the end, they just got to do a better job bringing guys in and developing them. They've got a lot of grinders on this team. You'll have tough kids like Xavier Restrepo, who's kind of like another Braxton Berrios. You'll have a Colby Young, who's kind of an overachiever from the JUCO ranks, who's a big body guy who'll make some nice catches. But man, where are the special playmakers that make college football exciting? Those are the guys that have to show up here in the next couple years if this program is really going to take off.
Well, listen, bro, it's time for, John Ruiz to put on a mustache.
Oh, they tried,
a hat, put on like some kind of dark coat, walk over to some Ohio bar where Brian Hartline is hanging and tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Brian, we got a spot for you in Miami. You played for the Dolphins. You love that South Florida weather. Let's get out of Columbus. Come on down to Miami and recruit wide receivers. Come on, let's go. I mean, Brian Hartline, bro, he has become like the ultimate recruiter in the USA, baby. I think he might be the number 1 recruiter right now in the USA.
Well, he's certainly become a great at developing wide receivers, and it's a perfect sort of marriage there at Ohio State. You can go into a conference where really there's not too many offenses that can score with you, and you get these receivers to come in, and they all have huge days because there's so much talent on the field. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s an absolute stud. You look at that roster and just guys that have come out of that program every single year since he's been there. So, I think at some point here, Brian Hartline will probably want to become a head coach somewhere. There'll be some school in the Northeast or somewhere up in that area that'll say, hey, we'll pay you a lot of money to come here and recruit like that for us. But for right now, it's the perfect marriage. Ohio State's the school to go get wide receivers, and Miami used to be. We used to have that on the logo. Remember the receiver catching the ball underneath the U? Yeah. They used to use on those ESPN broadcasts, and not anymore, man.
I know. What do they use now? What position? What are they known for now?
Tight end, I guess. Is that kind of the one position they're known for? I don't know. I know they're not known for first rounders anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah. God, it's not even.
Gregory Rousseau and Jalen Phillips are basically holding the flag here for the recent few years.
So it has to be like a D lineman we have to put there.
D end, I guess. A long bodied D end.
Yeah, that's it. Just like a guy in a 3-point stance.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not exactly what college football looks like anymore when you're getting 65-7 and 51-46 and all these basketball scores, low-scoring basketball college games.
Damn, bro. Damn. Mario's got a lot of work ahead of him. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Please subscribe to The Athletic so you can get the latest, not just on the Canes, but all over college football, all over the nation, NFL, NBA, international soccer, all kinds of stuff. Terrific site, terrific insiders on it. Manny, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We will talk on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, or Tuesday it is. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you, brother. You too.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro. Don't forget, go to Caneswear. That's at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. They've got anything and everything practically with the Canes logo on it. It is just absolutely an amazing place. It is heaven for a Canes fan. They also have Inter Miami gear, Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Marlins. So Panthers, they've got all the other teams locally in town, so you can buy stuff from them. But you can also find, almost anything and everything with a logo on it. It's actually a really, really cool place. And you can go online. So if you live out of the area, you can go to caneswear.com. And when you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And by the way, they ship right away. Jeff and the staff do an awesome job. I'm telling you, Brett has created a monster there at Caneswear. And go see Brett and Jeff and all the amazing people at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear. That is your Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slowens, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
There's there's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All righty, we're back, baby, and look what we got ourselves here. Jonathan Cagle. I just saw Larry Schlossberg.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. He left me. Hold on, Cam, all right? We got a listener leaving me a beautiful present here of a Cater Kohu picture that is signed by Cater Kohu. And by the way, there is a certification and everything in it to make it official. So it's verified, this certification, by SpencerLOA.com. So there you go. They're in Fort Lauderdale and in New Jersey. And there you go. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I am going to frame this and put it in the studio. That is very kind of you. Thank you all out there. And Jonathan, that is very nice of you to get this picture and then to drop it off here personally at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. That is very nice.
That's nice.
Isn't it? Damn right it's nice, bro. We got the best listeners on the planet, bro. We got the best listeners on the planet. They love the program. They support all of us. And that's why we get to do this every week, Cam. We're blessed. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, man. Is he there? Did he lose us? Did he lose us? Did you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't think he hears me. He's like packing or something.
Yeah.
You don't hear?
Sure.
You don't hear? Can you hear?
No, that's cool.
Are you packing or what's the deal? What's going on here? He doesn't hear anything?
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. That's awesome to be able to get a gift from folks just trying to listen to the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Well, now we can. We were wondering if you can hear us.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you perfectly. Are you all right there? Can you hear us?
There's a delay or something.
Yeah. He's not hearing us. He's not hearing us. So I think
I'm hearing you guys on a delay because I'm responding.
Yes. Yeah, but if you're listening to if he's listening to the.
Yeah, I hear you well.
Oh, you hear me live now? Oh, you're behind?
Yeah, I'm hearing you guys well.
He's behind. He's behind.
Cater Kohu gift. That was pretty awesome.
He's behind. Yeah, he's behind.
Yeah, I'm like 10 seconds behind. It feels like.
Yeah.
This is weird.
We need to reconnect. Okay, we're gonna reconnect. Got to reconnect. That's what we got to do. All right. Let's see. Oh, just ask random questions and let them say yes to everything. You know what? The best part is when I put these guys in uncomfortable positions and I start asking them about stuff like, hey, Dana White slapping his wife, the Deadman massage gun thing. I always get these guys in very uncomfortable positions about stuff like that. If you want to feel better about Skyler, go watch the college highlights. There you go. Yeah, if he was only playing college. Let's see. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you. I've been hearing you. The question is, are you on a delay?
Yeah, I'm here. Felt like I
Okay.
was in a time warp.
Yes. Anyway, so talk to us a little bit. Dolphins. How would you?
Yeah, I don't know.
How would you, if you're Mike McDaniel, what kind of chances are you taking this week offensively? What are you trying to do to try to even make this a game, if you can make it a game?
Yeah, you got to take the ball really and focus away from Skylar Thompson and put it on your highest paid and best players on the field. That's Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And so the way you do that is it's got to be Mike McDaniel. Really, the onus on him as far as getting them in movement and pre-snap more than he does already, and figuring out how to get the ball to them in that 5 to 10 yard variety so that they can be able to use that yards after catch ability. And so to me, you've got to, this might be a game where you have a 12 catch for 77-yard day instead of a 12 catch for 200-yard day. You got to figure out a way to get them the ball and let them create. And, you got to slow down the game, minimize the possessions. And, we're not expecting at this point Raheem Mostert to play. So it's got to be Jeff Wilson, balling out the thunder of that offense. And so, on the offensive side of the ball, you're not expecting to score 30 points. So you got to figure out how to maximize your possessions, keep the ball, don't turn the ball over, and figure out, okay, if we get 7 possessions, we got to figure out how to make 5 of these points, even if they're field goals, and try to shorten the game. And so won't be pretty, but that's the route, if there is a route, in trying to upset this Bills team.
Does Skyler need to show you something in this game?
I mean, ideally, right? I mean, the problem is he's a 7th round rookie, right? So it's almost like you're asking for more than you should, but the reality is the playoffs. You got to. And so I think you're going to ask Skyler at least 2 or 3 times this game to make a throw that's probably not a 7th round rookie throw, a throw that may be a Tua throw, and that's going to have to win you a game. I don't know if it's a 30-yard, post route to Tyreek, or if it's just a 7-yard slant route on a 3rd and 5 play, but there's going to be at least 2 or 3 plays where Skyler's going to have to make a throw that are not game management throws, that are not easy throws, that are, throws because he is who he is. And so, if that's Skyler showing me something, then yes, we're going to need those plays for the Dolphins to win this game.
I say that because I think next year the plan for the backup quarterback becomes even more important. And so the luxury of keeping a 3rd quarterback has to be something that is really well worth it, because it's going to limit you in other areas, obviously, for your roster. So that's why I say, do you need to see more from Skyler? Because it's kind of a luxury for a team to keep a kid, because he's not going to be ready to be your number 2 next year. Like maybe that might have been the plan, like, okay, but he's played more than you even expected him, and he still hasn't shown you enough that he can be a capable backup. So next year, you're going to have a plan to have a capable backup. From everything I'm hearing, the plan moving forward is Tua. That they're putting together a plan for Tua next year, throughout the offseason, everything else. So the plan is Tua. So for anybody out there that thinks they're going to go after Tom Brady or whatever, that's not going to be the case. They're going to stay with Tua. That's what I'm hearing. And so if that's the case, then the plan for your backup has to be better than even Teddy Bridgewater.
So how important is it that Skylar shows you something to bridge that gap? Or you say, yeah, not good enough. I got to maybe part ways with him, go get another backup and maybe move away from the development of Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, if you're talking,
or you might be able to
if you're talking into the future.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're talking into the future, I'm thinking that you got to have Skylar Thompson show you in this game that he can come in a situation when you need him to be able to shine. And that's a situation like this in the playoffs. You mentioned that you don't think he'll be ready for the backup role next year. I disagree. I think there's plenty of reason to believe that if he plays well enough down the stretch, why not have him as the 2 next year? I don't think, honestly, there's been a huge difference on the field between Teddy and Skylar's play. And so paying $7 million for a Teddy Bridgewater type.
Yep, broke. It broke up. It's breaking up. It's breaking up. We're having some technical issues there.
But he's competent enough to come in and survive. And I think a part of that is you use what he does best. You know, in college at Kansas State, he was very mobile. A guy who, okay.
Yeah, no, you got back on track after it was off there a little bit. But just to kind of follow up on what you're saying, you're assuming.
So what I was saying briefly is
wait a minute. You're assuming he finishes strong here. So far, there's been nothing strong about any of his performances. I don't care what the hell Mike McDaniel says on the podium trying to talk him up. He has been unimpressive every time he's been out. They barely got by this week with him. So he has to do something this week. He has not shown you anything so far this year that you would say, okay, I feel good that Skylar's your number 2, correct?
No, I don't think either quarterback has shown. Obviously, they've lost every game that you've had to play with these backup quarterbacks. So neither one has shown the reality of that. But my thing is there hasn't been a huge gap between Teddy and Skylar. So if this is the quality of play for a backup quarterback, then what's the difference rolling with Skylar than rolling with Teddy? And so that's what I was saying. I don't know if there's a delay or something, but it seems like we're going over each other in each realm. But I will say, like for Skylar, his skill set and what he did at Kansas State that helped him have some success with his mobility. And so I think we've seen it in spurts in some of his games, but I would like to see more of that. I would like to see them, even if they have to change the offense a little bit, it's a playoff game. Let's use Skylar's legs a little bit more. Let's lean on the ground game a little bit more and, hit Tyreek and Jalen when you have your chances. And so as far as the long-term 2023 backup question, we're going to have 3 months in the offseason to probably talk about that before. But I think for this game on Sunday, you've got to figure out, okay, what can we do with Skylar's skill set to give us the best chance to score 20, 23 points and hope our defense does enough that gives us a shot.
Are you expecting Armstead to play or not? You got me? Armstead, do you expect him to play or not?
I mean, with Armstead, I always expect him to play until he doesn't. So the last 2 games have actually surprised me just because of how tough he is. But I say he tries to give it a go. I don't know if he finishes the game, but if you're asking me in a crystal ball, I'd say he tries to give it a go. I will tell you he's been battling through some real injuries, like injuries that would have kept guys out significant periods of time. And so, but just because of who he is, I think he'll try to give it a go on Sunday.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network.
Yeah, there's definitely
Cam, as always, I appreciate you, bro. Have a
I've got all my bars. I'm not sure what the deal is.
Yes. All right. That is Cameron Wolf.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Appreciate it out there. Thank you all out there, and apologies for the interview that it was absolutely terrible and the reception was terrible. Unfortunately, we could not communicate properly. I was not happy with what just went on in the last segment here overall. So it's got to be much better than that. Can't have these kind of shaky ass connections. Skylar can't process defense pre or post snap. He's not ready. Yeah, that's my point. Skylar showed me nothing to be a number 2. And it's a super luxury to have you a number 3 quarterback 2 years in a row. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Oh, by the way, did I didn't get the prediction right from the one on Wednesday? I lost. I went with Bill, right? Because they're asking me now, WWE SmackDown prediction, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. No, it's not a super chat. It's not a super chat. Just a regular one. So something wrong on your end, and it happens, but was the same with Marcel last night. No, not really. Manny's interview was perfect. No, had nothing to do with us, bro. Had to do on Cam's end. He was in some kind of a room that didn't give him proper reception, and it was bad. So had nothing to do with us. What is it? Oh, Jungle Hook won? Okay. The damn Jungle Book, huh? Went with the kids' book. That's what ended up winning. He's a rookie. Give him time. You know that doesn't happen anymore, my brother. There is no time. You know what I mean? And that's my point. That if Skylar doesn't show me anything this week, and he does the same stuff that I've seen so far, you got to move on. You got to move on. You don't have time for this. Stash him on the practice squad. And if somebody takes him, great. And if they don't, then you'll keep working with him. But outside of that, he's got to do something on Sunday for me to actually think of keeping him as a luxury number 3 quarterback on a roster. That's all I'm saying. They can talk up what they want. They have to talk it up. That's what McDaniel does. It's what all coaches do. Spo's not going to trash a player in front of the mic and all that. He's going to talk him up and all that. Behind the scenes, it might be a whole different ball game, but up front, he's not gonna slam anybody. So we got SmackDown prediction here: Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. That's how it's pronounced, Sami Zayn. All right. Well, Kevin Owens. I got to tell you, Billy Owens was kind of inconsistent, kind of an underachiever in basketball. A lot of talent, but should have been a much better player and then not only Billy Owens, but then what was this guy's name? Kevin. The Heat had him, and he was like a black hole. Came from Atlanta. You'd pass it into him, and he was named Kevin something. I forgot his name. So that already rubs me the wrong way right there. Okay, but then when we think about Sami Zayn. When I go to the Senior Bowl, I go to Senior Bowl all the time. I'll be there at the end of the month. But all the time, I used to go to Sammy's. And Sammy's was an adult entertainment club where a lot of the NFL folks would go. And they don't do it anymore because we phone with camera phones and stuff. They don't like to do anything anymore in public. So Sammy's is dead and gone, but I had a lot of great times at Sammy's. Okay. So I'm going to go with having the great times with Sammy at Sammy's, right? I'm going to go with Sami Zayn over Kevin Owens. Okay. Not Kevin Edwards, Kevin Willis. That's it, Lenny Pena. Kevin Willis was the black hole for the Miami Heat. You'd toss it into him, and that guy was never going to pass it out of that center. No. That ball was going to disappear, and he was going to take a shot. Then he was going to go to the bench and design a new suit for himself because Kevin Willis was one of the sharpest dressed dudes I have ever seen in my life. So, Billy Owens, underachiever, Kevin Willis, the black hole. I'm going to go Sami Zayn. I had a lot of fun at Sammy's over the years, you know. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn over Kevin Owens. Thumb up or thumb down on my analysis? Wow, I got a thumbs up from the Sean Allen.
Yeah, because I think if they do it right, the storyline will be Sami Zayn gets the victory tonight, or they beat down Kevin Owens to set up for the Royal Rumble match that he has with Roman Reigns.
Okay. All right. And then we'll talk about I already have my analysis for Roman Reigns too. Okay. I'm ready to go. That's it. Nobody breaks down wrestling like I do. No one. Okay? Will never happen. It's just the way it is. Kevin the short arm. Yeah, he did have short arms. You are correct. You are correct. Nice, good memory on your part, dude. Brady will come in and band-aid us for 23 and 24, drafting Drake May in 24. Problem solved. Yeah. Well, King Short, you can dream, and then you can have a nightmare because that's not going to happen. But hey, knock yourselves out. I already told you guys what the plan is. Did you do a rant on that one? On the plan? Okay. The plan, they're moving forward with Tua. I can already tell you. Okay? You can listen to whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. The plan is Tua. Tua will be your quarterback in 2023. Nobody else. So don't even bother. I'm telling you. You can talk about everything you want, but you'll see. Crypto says, crypto is speculative investing with no real value. Tua only shows up 70% of the Sundays. Yeah, and that gets you the number one rated quarterback in the NFL, something that the Dolphins haven't had in decades. I don't even think Marino was ever the number one rated quarterback in the NFL. He gunslinged too much. I can already tell you. Yeah, yards or touchdowns, like total numbers, I can see Marino being the check. I can tell you when it comes to quarterback rating by just living it. I can guarantee you he was never number one rated. So, whatever. I'd have to watch. I think he's just going off of the 5,000 yards, but I don't know if the rating is going to be there. Yards and touchdowns, yes, obvious. He held the records for a while, but I don't know about rating. That's a whole different ballgame because a guy like Montana would probably kill them in rating every year. You know? So, there you go. Crypto about to get a lashing from Big O. Oh, crypto's doing well, baby. Crypto's doing well. I am shocked that the run started now. We got Bitcoin over 19,000, which is a beautiful thing. We got Ethereum over 1,400. Love it. Yeah, man. Things are moving. Things are moving and grooving. I can deal with that. And a lot of stuff is in the green, by the way, in the crypto market. And in stocks too, because I'm up with my acorns. I'm up also. Trying to see if there's any like really big shocking ups right now that are in the green. Aptos is up 35%. Wow, a lot of people have been talking about Aptos. I'm not into Aptos. A lot of people. Sandbox is up 10.5% over the last 24 hours. My Decentraland is up 14%. Phantom up 14%. There's a lot of coins right now doing very well. A lot of companies are doing very, very well. I like it. All right, you people that want Tua out know that other teams will get him, right? And the chance of him going well exists. I can imagine your faces when this happens. I will invest in Big O coin only. Well, all you got to do right here, visit our sponsors, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a donation, a super chat on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's how you support us. That's how our platform grows. Okay, to provide you all the information possible. Like my man Scott Pianowski, who's going to start off hour number 3. We're going to talk a little fantasy football. We're going to talk some daily fantasy, a lot of daily fantasy, because that's what's going on. And then, we'll get into some football talk also with Scott Pianowski. We'll be doing that every week now throughout the offseason with our Sports Grill Fantasy Football and Draft Zone. So, I'm headed to the Senior Bowl at the end of the month. All of these kind of things. Pianowski and Barons are going to keep up with a lot of the offseason stuff and the changes from the draft to free agency and how it affects dynasty leagues and teams and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to tack that all throughout the offseason to help you get ready for your draft next year. That's kind of the idea, man. That's what all of this, the planning starts now. Scott Pianowski joins us for hour number 3 next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Scott Pianowski.
Right. How you doing, baby? You doing all right? You doing good?
Doing good. Let's clean up something from the last segment. Miami Dolphins quarterbacks who have won the rating title, Tua this season, Marino did do it in his MVP season of 1984.
He did have the highest rated?
He did, yeah. He actually, by a pretty fair amount. I mean, all those touchdowns, that huge YPA, offset the fact that he threw about 17 picks that year. And Bob Greasy did it in 1977. I was also surprised. You mentioned Montana. He actually only did it twice. No shame in that. But Steve Young actually did it, I think, 6 times in 7 years. People forget
I would
how
figure
great
in that
Steve Young was.
offense. In that offense, it's funny because Montana wasn't throwing 80-yard bombs or 50-yard bombs all the time. It was all these short slants and crossing routes and all that stuff. And then it was Jerry Rice taking it all the way, or John Taylor, or whatever, or in Young's point, Terrell Owens also was part of that. Mm-hmm. They had exceptional tight ends also throughout. So they just had explode, and Roger Craig was a guy that gave him a lot of explosion too, coming out of the backfield. So I figured, I don't remember, but I would figure that those were more higher percentage throws, and and opportunities for him compared to Marino, who was. Dude, he was gunslinging it all the time. He had no running game, man. Come on. He had a terrible defense.
And also, I don't think Marino ever played with a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I mean, Clayton and Duper were really good players, but they weren't Jerry Rice, right?
I got to listen, dude. I lived it. I'll be a complete homer here. Mark Clayton was the second best receiver in the NFL next to Jerry Rice. Okay,
he was fun, man. He was so good in the air, so good at one of those guys. Even when he wasn't open, just throw him the ball in and make a play.
He could out jump you. That guy could dunk at like 5'10" or whatever the hell he was. You would watch him in the whatever that what's that called, the Superstars thing, and he'd be what's called deadlifting like 500 pounds or something. He was a super athlete.
Yeah.
Clayton was an elite player. I think they've been robbed because of the off-the-field issues that they had, which were short-lived off-field issues. They weren't long-lived. They had blips in their careers that they did a couple bad things, whatever. Lots of other guys have done worse and for a longer period of time, and I think they've been penalized because if you look at their stats, they dwarf Lynn Swann. Okay? But the problem is, what does Lynn Swann have that they don't have? Those big moments in the touchdowns.
The Hall of Fame is so heavily slanted towards legacy building in the playoffs, legacy building in the Super Bowl. I always maintain, because Swann went in the Hall of Fame before Stallworth, I always maintained Stallworth was the better player. But Lynn Swann, and this is why it pisses me off that Steve Sable did not get in the Hall of Fame until after he died, and he lived in his 70s, right?
I hate when we do that.
Steve Sable is why people get in the Hall of Fame. Steve Sable is a big reason why Lynn Swann waltzed into the Hall of Fame, because everybody saw Lynn Swann in slow motion making these unbelievable catches against the Cowboys. I was a little bit too young to actually have lived through it, but I saw the highlights. That's where the legacies are made. It still blows my mind, and again, I'm preaching the choir. I mean, you guys know all about the Dolphins A to Z. After that second Marino season where he wins MVP, he goes to the Super Bowl. If you had told me that Dan Marino would be healthy and have a long career and be all over the record book and they'd never get back to a Super Bowl, I'd say, get out of here. Right. They're going to go back. I don't know if it'll be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, but they're going to get back.
But see, here's the thing: we have hindsight now, and here's where we have to think about it and say that was actually not really smart of us to say this. Why? They got there without a defense and a running game. How many times are you going to do that? And that's why he never went back, because Shula never fixed a running game. And Shula never gave him a dominant defense, whereas Montana went back over and over again. Why? Because he had an elite defense and he had an elite running game to go along with that pass offense and that monster offensive line. And so Marino, really, the fact that he made it there was a miracle in itself, is really the way we have to look at it. That thought of, they'll be back again? No, actually, that was foolish. That's fool's gold, as they say on our part, because if you think about it, how many guys get back there over and over again without a defense and a running game?
I'm not in any way cheapening what Marino did. It's just that to solve the most important thing in the NFL, which we know is get your quarterback, and they solved it. And Marino was so good with his release that the offensive line almost, I mean, like Dwight Stevenson, Hall of Famer, of course, center and everything, but Marino got rid of the ball so quickly you could never sack him.
Right.
You know, and I grew up in New England. I always expected the Patriots to lose to the Dolphins. I was shocked when New England beat them in the 85, 86 playoffs. And we got robbed of the game everybody wanted, right? Everybody wanted to see Miami play Chicago again.
Miami fumbled 3 times in that game, I want to say.
Right.
I think those were the real killers in that game were the fumbles, actually.
That's the game we all wanted to see, right? Obviously, Miami was the only team that beat Chicago in that famous Monday night game. And I think they would have given that, you know, they would have had the best quarterback in the game at that point against the best defense I've ever seen. That would have been, I think 46-10, it would have been more competitive than that. Let's just go there.
I'm with you there. By the way, I've been talking about this, that, you know, I have, watching Skyler this year, I have not seen enough from him to say, oh yeah, I'm comfortable bringing him back next year, because it's a super luxury to be your number 3 again. He has not done enough to elevate him to be a number 2 and reliable, just in case, because everything I hear, Scott, the plan is Tua next year. So none of this other stuff, Tom Brady, all that's not going to happen. It's going to be Tua next year. They're moving forward. But if you're going to move forward with Tua, then the important part is who's the backup. And so for me, Skyler hasn't done enough to show me. And it's a super luxury to say, oh, we'll bring you back to be the number 3 again. I think that would be a waste of a roster spot at this point. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm trying to find a better backup plan. What is realistic in your eyes?
Let me ask you this. What's the status of Teddy Bridgewater?
It's a 1-year contract.
Okay.
That's it.
You think
you can bring him back next year, but I don't know. Again, reliable. He's broken down too.
I don't know if somebody's going to sign Gardner Minshew to be a starter. I think he'd be a perfect backup if you could get him, but he may, you know, the story of the year in fantasy and really in the NFL to me has been, look at week 18, right? All these teams playing their 3rd string quarterbacks, right? You know, and 4th string in some cases. Arizona was playing David Blau, who was their 4th string quarterback. Obviously, we see this weekend a couple of teams aren't playing their starters. Miami's playing their 3rd stringer. Maybe Baltimore maybe playing their 3rd stringer. It used to be that everybody was a pocket quarterback, and you expected a guy to play a full season. You really need to have a plan. You really need to feel really good about your second guy. And this year, I've never seen more 3rd string quarterbacks play. And one reason why the 49ers, and I think they got lucky, because I don't think anybody thought Brock Purdy was going to be anything special, but they got lucky that he was ready for his close-up. I know they've scaled back the offense and they haven't thrown the ball as much, but his efficiency stats are just as good as Jimmy Garoppolo's. And again, they were really lucky they had Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance got hurt with the 2nd week of the season, I want to say. The NFL now, it used to be, well, you could only pay one quarterback and everybody else is going to get a really small deal. I think teams are going to start prioritizing it. There's even some talk. I don't think the Bears are going to draft a quarterback, but I don't think it would be crazy. Justin Fields with that sack rate.
Yes,
right? Justin Fields, I don't know what he's going to be. He was a great fantasy player, but I'm not sure if he's the answer. I don't know. You remember when the Cowboys...
Dude, he has to make Jalen Hurts advancement in order to feel good about him, or if not, look, Lamar has lived off his legs. But eventually he can't beat you with his arm, and now he's breaking down. And that is what's coming for Justin Fields. That exactly what's happened to Lamar is exactly what's going to happen to Justin Fields overall. You better be more like Jalen Hurts, and you better improve your accuracy, and you better find a way to beat people from the pocket. You don't have to live from the pocket, but when they force you to live from that pocket, you need to make them pay. And that's something that Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson cannot do on a consistent basis. And that's where I give Hurts, a ton of credit, because I really saw his accuracy just go leaps and bounds this year.
For sure. And they set up a great offense. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. A.J. Brown is the top 5 receiver, and it was a totally seamless transition. That was so crazy this year that the quarterbacks who changed teams didn't do so well, but obviously Tyreek Hill was great in Miami. A.J. Brown was great in Tennessee. Devontae Adams, although he had some ups and downs, still led the league in touchdown catches. But look around the league, right? who's going to take the Denver job? You have to try to fix Russell Wilson. I don't know how much longer Matthew Stafford is going to play, or Aaron Rodgers is going to play, or Tom Brady is going to play. Matt Ryan may be ready to retire. For some reason, Washington thought Carson Wentz was the answer when a playoff spot was still in the offing. I know that Taylor Heineke is a limited player too, but I thought going back to Wentz was a mistake. I think Wentz's days of a starter is gone. It's gotten to the point where I say to myself, Big O, oh, good, the Giants are on. Thank God Daniel Jones is on my TV set. He's one of the right answers now. Jared Goff is one of the right answers now. The Patriots have a mess at quarterback. Mac Jones, slid backwards. Zach Wilson didn't know what he was doing in New York all season. It's a mess, man. Deshaun Watson looked like a guy who had never played football before the last 6 weeks off his 2-year layoff. The league needs, and I know that this can be a very big quarterback draft class. They're going to go early, then maybe 4 or 5 in the first round. We need some of these guys to be good. I'm so encouraged with Trevor Lawrence. He took a big step forward. Obviously, Urban Meyer being gone helped there, and I'd love, man.
And you know what? I'm not a Mac Jones guy that much.
Me neither.
But I got to say, the Patricia thing had to have hurt him, just
sure.
like Trevor Lawrence was hurt by Stanky Fingers. Just like Tua was probably also hurt by Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have the proper coaching around you, you know what I mean? But I know Trevor can be an elite player. I know Tua can be an elite player. I don't think Mac can be an elite player, but he can be, I think, a serviceable quarterback. But Patricia, brother, I mean, that was a disaster.
The Patriots are obviously going to make major changes to their coaching staff. They have to.
Yep.
It's just so funny that with all these guys who miss, some of the safe harbors were Geno Smith, or Jared Goff, or Daniel Jones, who I think is the most improved player in the league, and that speaks to the coaching, right? Because Jones did it with a very ordinary group of receivers. They're missing 2 impact guys, but Dable did a great job with Jones, and he cleaned up. The big thing with Jones is that he fumbled the ball constantly, and he had an interception problem. He led the league in lowest interception rate this year, and he got the fumbles cleaned up. Back to Tua, you got to give him another year. Hopefully, concussions are complicated. I'm not a doctor. I would love to see what Tua could do give him 4 healthy months, man. He'd be in the Pro Bowl. He was an MVP candidate at one point this season.
I know.
So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know it could get ugly this week. You're not playing the quarterback you want. Buffalo's a tough draw. We get it. It could be cold weather. But you hired a good coach. You got a good quarterback. You have maybe the best 2 receiver pairing in the league. It's going to be right there with anybody else. Tyreek Hill just scares the pants off everybody. Say the same thing about Jalen Waddle. I could watch that guy's highlights all day. That touchdown he had against Green Bay on Christmas Day. Jalen Waddle's the king of, this is really a touchdown, this play? Yeah, it is. He just ran by 9 guys. Right. So there's a lot going on. Nobody thinks Miami's going to the Super Bowl. Not even the most homer, rose-colored glasses guy. But a step forward was made this year. We just got to keep Tua healthy next season.
Sean just told us this morning they're going all the way. So he's set. He wants to really party in the house I got in Arizona, because I got a house for a week in Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to use it now, unfortunately. All right, let's get to some daily fantasy for those that are going to be playing on Saturday and Sunday. Seattle and San Francisco. Brock Purdy over and under 221 in passing yards.
Going over there, and I'm going to link it up. I've already punched a George Kittle ticket. 7 touchdowns in 4 weeks. His over-under in yardage is something like 43 or something like that. He's going to go over on that. He had his way with the Seahawks. All the games are matchups this week, rematches. And we saw these teams play a few weeks ago. I think it was 21-10 or 21-13, but San Francisco really controlled the game. And I'll just make it really simple for you. Anything you want to bet in Seattle, I'm going under. I think they're going to score 10 points or fewer.
Yeah, it's gotten worse and worse for them. Yeah, I'm with you there. McCaffrey, 40.5 yards receiving. I love the over in that one, actually.
I like it. The thing that's tough with San Francisco is they have, now that Samuel's back, they have 4 really good guys that they can throw the ball to. So they could cannibalize each other a little bit. A sleeper I have, if you can get it, this is more of a prop than something I'd use in DFS. Eli Mitchell's going to get 10 carries in this game. If his rushing prop is somewhere in the 20s or 30s, man, I think he pushes over this, because the game's going to get out of hand.
Right.
And they're not going to want McCaffrey to get 27 touches.
Right.
So I think Eli Mitchell plays.
You get him out, let him rest. He's too injury prone. You don't want to do that to him.
For sure.
Keep him fresh for the next round. Oh, I'm with you there. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Deebo Samuel, 43.5, and Brendan Ayuk, 48.5 over and under receiving yards.
Ayuk would be the one I'd punch first. Although, again, Kittle is the guy I like the most. And Kittle, if you can get a touchdown prop on Kittle, because the big thing with George Kittle for fantasy was always, well, he's a great player. Why does he score 5 touchdowns every year? And for some reason, Brock Purdy, man, he likes those big targets over the middle. A lot of times that's where a young quarterback goes, and he's connected with Kittle. So he's the one guy in the passing game I would look to use first, because then I think it's going to be a lot of running in the second half.
Yep, I'm with you there. All right, Chargers and Jags. Justin Herbert, over under 282.5 passing yards.
I'm going to lean under because I think the game will be competitive, and Mike Williams' back injury, he'll play. He's limited. The Chargers lack a lot of team speed. They lost Jalen Guyton early in the season. They never upgraded that receiver room. I think it needs a fresh coat of paint in the offseason. The prop I really like in this game, the Chargers do not stop the run. Travis Etienne, I know it's in the 70s, but he's going to go over that. I think Etienne's going to be around
77.5
yards.
over and 77.5. Yeah.
I don't know why they don't throw him the ball, because he's never had more than 3 catches. I mean, he played with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. That's one of the reasons Etienne was a first-round pick. They thought he was a dual threat. He's been more of a run-first guy. But the Chargers are one of these teams that say, you know what, run the ball on us. We don't care. We're going to try to shut down your outside threats. We're going to try to shut down your passing game. And if we give up 4 or 5 yards a carry, think of the Tony Dungy Colts. That's what Brandon Staley wants to do. Etienne is going to sail past 100 yards in this game.
All right. George Kittle, by the way, the only thing I have so far is 43.5 receiving yards, 9.15 fantasy points, and 4 receptions, higher or lower. That's all I've got.
All overs for me.
They're all overs. Okay. I love it. All right. Miami and Buffalo, Tyreek Hill, over and under 61.5 yards.
I got to go over for 2 reasons. One, Tyreek Hill can do it on one play. And 2, we're talking about 13-point spread here. I just think the game's going to get out of hand. Mostert probably not available. That there's going to be enough passing volume in this game that Hill can get there, even if the game's out of hand. Again, Tyreek Hill, he could do nothing, and then one play later, you're happy and you're counting your money.
Yeah, he's picking up a fumble from somebody else and then taking it 60 yards.
A touchdown against the Chargers, right? That's Tyreek Hill for you, man.
And Waddle, 47.5 receiving yards, over and under.
God, is that? Remember, Buffalo's got problems in the secondary, right? I mean, obviously they lost Hamlin. I'm glad to see he's doing better. Micah Hyde hurt. Poyer has been dinged up, and the teams have thrown the ball. And then Mac Jones and his cast of thousands. Devontae Parker was making plays on Buffalo. You can actually throw the ball. Now, granted, we'll see how well Thompson plays. That's the X factor here, but I'm not going to hold it against Hill and Waddle. That's a really low number. In fact, I would punch Waddle before I would punch Hill, but I think they're both appealing to me.
All right, here's the painful part. Dolphin fans, put your fingers on your ears there. Josh Allen, over and under 255.5, rushing yards 49.5, and 2.5 total TDs.
A year or 2 ago, I would say I'd be all over the rushing, but the books have gotten smart, because what happens is these quarterbacks a lot of times in the playoffs, they think, okay, there's no tomorrow. What am I saving myself for? And they run more aggressively. But that number's been pumped up so much. And if Buffalo does win the game, maybe Josh Allen has a couple of kneel downs, which will cost you 3 or 4 yards. So I'm a no-go on the rushing prop. Normally, I love to bet a mobile quarterback to beat his rushing prop in the playoffs, but I think the books have adjusted to it. I do like him to go over the passing yardage, though.
All right, X has been a shell of himself. Stephon Diggs is over and under 79.5 yards.
I'm going to lean under. He wasn't great against the Patriots. He beat it with one big play. And I think Miami's going to roll everything they can to Diggs and say, okay, you want to beat us with Crowder, you want to beat us with Gabe Davis, who's kind of been a disappointment, Dawson Knox, the running backs, that's fine. I think Diggs is going to be a priority for the Dolphins. I think they'll do a reasonable job against them.
Okay. All right. Giants and Minnesota. Here we go. Your boy, Daniel Jones. Let's see. Total yards, 286.5. Passing yards, 240.5. And rushing yards, 39.5. And total TDs, 1.5.
Go get the rushing prop right now. And I think the TDs is good too. Remember, these teams played all rematches. Giants had the better of it. They had the big yardage edge. Somehow the Vikings stole the game with that Joseph kick at the end. But Daniel Jones is going to run for like 70 yards. I know that number's going up. Here's another thing with props, by the way. If you're ever going to bet any of these props, if you're an over better, get in early. If you're an under better, usually get in late, because these numbers tend to rise. People like to bet overs, so the numbers generally get higher as the week goes along. As soon as I saw Daniel Jones' number posted for rushing yardage, I immediately went over on it. I also think he'll have multiple touchdowns, despite one of the most pedestrian wide receiver rooms you'll ever see.
All right, and then we go Kirk Cousins over and under 277.5 yards.
Yeah, I don't like the Giants secondary. Big games for Jefferson and Hawkinson the last time they met. I'm going to have a lot of Hawkinson props again. And look, nobody likes Kirk Cousins, it seems, but he's better than average. He went for 299 and multiple touchdowns in the first meeting. I think that's around where he'll land in this game. I go over there.
And Justin Jefferson, 93.5. You got
Jefferson, right. Indoors on turf where he plays, he does his best work. I know he didn't do a lot last week, but whatever. I mean, he may be the 101 in fantasy next year. They have a very narrow usage tree, too. They're not throwing the ball to backup running backs, or they're not throwing the ball to a second tight end. It's their main guys, and I have no problem going with them. Again, this is going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend.
All right, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson over and under 1.5 knees. I'm sorry. Joe Burrow, 270.5 passing yards over and under.
I think the Bengals are going to control the game, and it's not going to force. And I respect the Ravens' defense, and I think it's going to be a game where the Bengals in the second half are playing clock ball. They're running the ball. I can't. It's either a no play for me or an under, because I just don't think the Ravens' offense is going to fight back enough. Baltimore, since their bye week, right, 8 weeks, they've scored more than 17 points once. I think they've averaged 14 points a week during that span, probably on a third-string quarterback. They're limping into the playoffs. I think everybody's happy to see them because they have look, they're well coached and they have a good defense, but where are you going with Huntley or Anthony Brown? That's not going to work. Their wide receiver room is even worse than what the Giants have right now. I think the Bengals win this game convincingly, but it's going to be a case where Joe Burrow's handing off and they're keeping him out of harm's way in the second half. So I can't aggressively play the Bengals pass catchers or the Bengals passing game.
Are you playing Joe Mixon over 55.5 rushing yards?
That I like, although he may need 20 carries to get there. He hasn't been a great Mixon
but the
season.
second half with the extend, if you get the lead and you want to run the clock and all, I can see Mixon becoming kind of a bell cow in the second half and get those 55 yards.
It could be like a 21 for 67 type of game for Mixon, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. All right, what do you got going on this weekend on Yahoo so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I'm working on my exit interview series where I go through every position of the 4 major ones and try to figure out what the heck happened. I did quarterbacks on Tuesday. With messy quarterback season. And then I did tight ends. People are saying, let's get rid of tight end in fantasy. I think that's a big mistake. Travis Kelce obviously dominated this year. Next week, I'll do the running backs. Next week, I'll do the wide receivers. And we just did a big podcast where we previewed all the games. Matt Harmon, Frank Schwab, and I, we gave out props. We gave out DFS recommendations. We picked all the games against the spread. So check that out. We even talked about who has better hair, Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence. We spent time on that. So we had some fun too.
I got to go Justin. It's got some body to it. Trevor's got the flat hair. It's no. You got to give Justin the.
I went with Herbert. He's got more of a surfer look that will age well. I think Lawrence will probably, his hair will look a little bit silly in 10 years or something like that.
Yeah. His hair doesn't fly. Yeah, he's got bad hair like me. Yeah, Justin's got cooler hair.
Yeah, you know, if you see me today, you know why I usually wear a hat, because I'm not sporting the greatest head of hair either. But it is what it is, my friend. So yeah, again,
I still have some left here at 56. So I'm
you
happy.
Look good, man. You look good. So anyway, we gave out picks, we gave out fantasy advice, and if there's anything that you're in a contest, you need some last minute advice, you're welcome to get me, Scott_Pianowski, because I know a lot of you are playing fantasy contests, one and done contest, or you're in a draft league or whatever it is. And, those are fun. I mean, in one league, we can play anybody you want, but only once. So it's like, when do you play the guys? Do you save them? Do you use them now? Do you use them at home? Where is the shootout? And my final advice is this. Again, if you're in any of that stuff where you can pick anybody you want, the game I'd be focusing on is that Giants-Minnesota game. It's indoors. Neither team has a good defense. I mean, the Vikings secondary, man, they made Mac Jones look great. Last week, they couldn't stop anything. That's going to be, I think you need 30 points to win that game. A lot of these other games are going to be blowouts or low scoring. I would focus on the Giants and the Vikings for fantasy this weekend.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski and catch his work there at Yahoo. Scott, as always, thank you, my friend. Have a blessed weekend, man. Thank you.
My pleasure. Be good, Big O.
Thank you, sir. 8 great locations, Sports Grill. You got football, playoff football going on, man. What are you waiting for? You got 8 awesome locations. They added the new one in Doral. It is beastly, dude. Mondays, they've got the $7 single smash burger. Tuesdays, the $2 tacos, chicken, beef, or fish. Wednesdays, the kids eat for free with the purchase of an adult entree. And during these NFL games, you can get $1.50 Bud Light drafts. And that's right, they've added new cocktails now, the cherry lemonade and the tailgate tea, only $5 during the NFL games, $12 domestic pitchers, and bone-in wings, 15% off. Sports Grill, baby. It is the best place to go enjoy yourself a little NFL football and some great food. SportsGrill.com.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All right. I do want to tell you about EJD Construction. We love talking about Eric and all the great people out there. If you're in Dade or Broward only, not Palm Beach, I'm sorry, because we've had several of our listeners call Eric, and I forgot to mention for several months Palm Beach. I would say South Florida. Dade or Broward, they have a lot of business, and they help a lot of people, and a lot of people now are calling Eric at 305-433-4843. You're trying to renew your insurance, right? Your insurance policy for your home. You got to protect yourself with the hurricanes, and then they're telling you, oh, wait a minute, your house is a little older than 20 years. You need to upgrade that roof. You got to bring it up to code now because there's a new code for roofs here in South Florida due to hurricane season. Well, guess what? EJD Construction. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, full contractor, baby, fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So they do it all. It doesn't matter. They can build an entire house for you, a second floor. They can redo the entire kitchen. We have a listener that is actually gutting their entire home, remediating it because they had a fire, and now they're redoing the entire thing. Many of our listeners have been calling to upgrade their roofs. We had a listener that got a big old backyard with a barbecue, a kitchen, a grease trap, and a big old beautiful, it's not like a tiki hut, but it's kind of like one of those huts. It looks even better than a tiki hut, actually. It's really, really cool. Another one of our listeners got an observation deck on top of their home, all these kind of things. You can go to EJD Construction on Instagram so you can see a lot of their work. You can go to ejdconstruction.com, call Eric 305-433-4843 and tell them that Big O sent you. ejdconstruction.com. All right, let's get ready, baby. Let's step into the huddle with Matt Verderam.
Let's huddle up with Fanside National NFL reporter Matt Verderam. The huddle is brought to you by RedRecover.com. RedRecover.com's wraps and pads are designed to deliver maximum benefits with each treatment anywhere you go. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about Red Light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being. Here's NFL reporter Matt Verderam.
By the way, the wraps right now, 50% off. We got one hell of a sale right now. So if you want to maybe help yourself in your workouts and maximize them, you can use it before and after your workouts. If you've got an old injury that keeps giving you issues when you go play golf or you're playing pickleball or tennis or walking or running or working out, man, Red Recover, Red Light Therapy can help any part of the body, neck, back, shoulders, knees, elbows, ankles, you name it. They've got a pad for the ladies to put on their face for the crow's feet, man. That's amazing. It's helping me grow hair. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Go to redrecover.com. Check out the video blogs. Check out the blogs. You get 50% off. I got the one for my wife for the bottom of her feet because she's a teacher and she's standing all day and she uses it every day for 15 minutes. And it is just absolutely amazing. They even have the wraps for the dogs in their back legs, their hips where they usually have some issues. There you go. We have one of our listeners that has a little Yorkie that broke both his legs. They've got steel bars inside, right? That they insert in, and he's had issues walking around. He's been using the pads now from Red Recover, and now the dog is having a much happier life and walking around and enjoying life with less discomfort. Even my man Sean, former Marine. Well, aren't you always a Marine, even when you're a Marine? Yes. Hoo-ha! Or is it hoo-ha or whatever it is? Huh? Or her hoo-ha or what? Huh? Hoorah? Hoorah? All right, hoorah! There we go. Anyways, this crazy bastard was jumping out of planes. Because of that, he's got a knee that's bone on bone, and he uses the Red Recover to alleviate that. You're not going to fix bone on bone, but getting the blood flowing there in that area relieves the pain and the discomfort. So redrecover.com, man. Check it out. Hayden Hurst uses it for the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good? Everything good out there?
I'm good. As you know. Got two daughters at home, and one of them is fine, running around like a psycho. The other one is 9 months old, has an ear infection, sinus problem, and has oh god, I can't keep tracking whether it's a sinus infection, ear infection. She's something else. She's pink eye. Wow. It's been a full week. It's been a full week, but she's on the mend. So it's now becoming a little bit more normal around the house. Kids are amazing. Like if I had any of those things, I would be face down and just that'd be the end of it.
Right. She's
like smiling through the whole thing, just happy, still her, just with a lot of snot, but like still her.
If you call Tim Tebow over and he just puts his hand on her, she'll be healed.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like it really, if that was me, forget it. I'd be done. She's happy, still like trying to scoot around the house, just looking like death. But we're getting there.
By the way, did you ever see that video of that guy having a seizure at a minor league baseball game and Tim Tebow put his hand on him and the seizure stopped?
No.
Oh, seriously? No, the video's out there. Go on YouTube. You'll see it. Put boy seizure Tebow or whatever, and I'm sure it'll come up. And he was at one of his minor league games, and some kid started having a seizure, and he walked over and he touched him. The seizure ended.
That's incredible.
And it's believable because it's Tim Tebow, right? That's the thing. You really think about it. No one else in the world can make you think that is actually possible. But when they tell you it's Tim Tebow, you're like, well, yeah, it might be possible. Yeah. Let me not go out on a limb saying, no way. Oh, it's Tim Tebow, bro. I'm not messing with that. I'm not messing with that mojo, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Can't mess with that mojo. By the way, I know it hasn't happened. So, it's like this entitlement thing that would be coming from you, but it's not really an entitlement thing because you guys are, the Chiefs are badasses. How are the Chiefs family and fans and all that about this whole AFC Championship game neutral site? Because this team earned the right to be home the entire year. So I'm just wondering, I understand these are unprecedented things and it's out of everybody's control and they're trying to make the best of it. But I'm wondering, what has the talk been around the Chiefs world?
It's been split. I think, some people say, look, man, it's an unbelievable circumstance and tragedy was avoided. And that's really the important thing. And if they got to go play a neutral site game, then whatever, they'll go play a neutral site game. I think about half the fan base feels that way. The other half of the fan base feels like the Chiefs have the best record in the AFC. They should be home. And it's unfortunate what happened, but the Bills didn't finish that game. And the Chiefs have one more win, the same amount of losses, and the Chiefs should be home. I fall on the side of, you know what? I think the neutral site's a fair thing. I do.
It's a fair thing, but what if we just left it as if the Bengals and the Bills meet in the playoffs, they will play in a neutral site. But the Chiefs have earned the right and should not be penalized for what went on. So when the Bengals or the Bills advance, they will go to Kansas City if Kansas City obviously has advanced. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves out there, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to ask it, especially with Matt on and him having such a great pulse of the Chiefs, fan base. That's the only thing that I thought of. And I know as a talk show host, if I was in Kansas City, that's what I would be pissed at. I would be saying, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You can't penalize everybody else because of this. It's a sad situation. We're glad that it turned out awesome, but it should only affect the teams that were involved in it, not the teams that weren't involved in it. And luckily for us, the Kansas City Chiefs have a record that cannot be argued. They earned that number one spot. They should be the host. Now, if Cincinnati or Buffalo advance and they have to meet each other, let's put them in a neutral field. That way, neither one gets an advantage. That would have been fair.
I think the team with the gripe really is Cincinnati, because
Yeah.
the Bengals finished a half game behind the Bills. It was really early. They were winning the game. Why isn't Bills Bengals at a neutral site? Like, why do the Bills play that game at home? For what reasoning? The Bills didn't earn that game at home. So I think that, truthfully, that's the game to me. That, like, if I'm the Bengals, I'm furious. The Chiefs, I mean, look, you could argue it one of two ways. You could say no team's ever had the most wins in a conference and not been at home in an AFC title game. You could also argue it and say no team has ever beaten another, which the Bills beat the Chiefs, had the same amount of losses at the end of the year and been seated behind them. So I think it's fair. I don't have a problem. I will also say this, and we are getting ahead of ourselves. So all these teams have to win these games.
Of course.
I do not think the Bills.
Juicy subject that we have to talk about, bro.
I don't think it's going to end up coming to fruition, because I don't think the Bills will beat the Bengals. So
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, but the Bills' pass defense has not been good for a while at this point, and you're going to stop the Bengals with that team? I don't know. But you know what? Ultimately, if the Chiefs end up going to the AFC title game, they play Buffalo and it's in Atlanta and they lose to them, you know what? To me, then it's, I'm never going to look back at that and go, well, that was an Arrowhead. I mean, these things happen. The Chiefs will have an opportunity. They're the one. Hey, you know what?
But you guys are unstoppable in Arrowhead, right? Isn't like 7 of 8 in the Mahomes era you've won, right? Or something like that? Something stupid?
Didn't win there last year in the AFC title game.
Right. So that's the one loss, right? Or something like that?
They've lost twice. They've lost Ed.
Twice.
They lost,
I'm sorry. You're 6-2. Okay.
They lost to Brady in Mahomes' first MVP year in that overtime game. But no, my point is, listen, the funny thing is, statistically, they've been a hell of a lot better this year away from home. They've actually been a lot better as a road team. So, I get it. Like, it's a juicy topic, and to me, I'm not too overstung about it. If the Chiefs have to go down there and play that game, you're in the AFC Championship game, go down there and win, and then you'll be favored whoever you play against in the Super Bowl. So we will see. The Chiefs are probably going to play whoever wins out of Jacksonville and the Chargers. And I don't know if you saw this just happen. Mike Williams is now ruled out.
I know he's out now.
He's also apparently out for the season because he broke his back. So just a phenomenal job by Brendan Staley to play these guys in a game that meant nothing, not seeding, nothing. And Mike Williams goes out and fractures his back.
An injury, by the way, an injury-prone player that you put in that position.
I mean, and then to hear him after the game say, we only have 48 guys to dress. What do you want me to do? Play the guys who are backups. Like, do you not have those guys? Like, what is happening? That was the dumbest comment I've ever heard from a coach. Honestly, genuinely, no hyperbole. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard somebody say. Yeah. You have 48 players and you can't figure out how to sit your top 7 or 8 guys?
Yeah.
You kidding? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's he's come up with some doozies. I'll tell you that. There's no doubt about that. Derek Carr said goodbye to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Where does Derek Carr end up?
Well, when you look at it, they've got to trade him before February 15th or cut him. Or his guarantees kick in. Right. So they have to cut him. I mean, that's a pretty early. Usually those mechanisms in contracts are like right at the beginning of free agency. It's like March 10th, March 12th. You know what? February 15th is early, which was a great move by Carr's agent because he's really forcing the Raiders' hand. And he has a no trade. So at first in the deal, when the news came out about him getting sat down for Stidham, I was like, all right, well, they'll trade him. Now this February 15th thing, like they're not going to be able to trade him. I mean, he's gonna get cut. I think the Jets make all the sense in the world, frankly. Like, he can go in there, be a huge upgrade over Zach Wilson, stabilize that team. I think with him, they're probably a playoff team. I mean, I think they're probably good enough to get in the playoffs.
Hell yeah, with that defense, and they get Breece Hall back next year.
Right? Yeah, you'd think they'd be good enough to make the playoffs. You look at like the Colts. I think the Colts have just got to go young. They've done the veteran thing. I think you got to get younger there. They got the 4th overall pick. I don't know that Carr would want to go here after all the dysfunction he's dealt with, but Washington certainly could use a quarterback. But if you're Derek Carr, like, do you want to go there?
Want to play for that owner?
Right. I mean, that's kind of the point. Like, I wouldn't want to go there.
No.
Tampa's probably going to need a quarterback. You want to go play in Tampa?
Not a bad team.
Not
a bad
terrible.
team.
No, like you could do worse, right? So I mean that's an interesting spot.
Could you go to the Texans?
You could. I mean, I think though if you go there, you're
You have a boatload of picks, by the way.
Right. I mean, I think if you're the Texans, you're going to take a quarterback in the first round. I think that's probably how this is going to play out. To me, the leader in the clubhouse is the Jets. But I'll give you one dark horse. What about the Giants? If Daniel Jones goes out and doesn't play well in this playoff game, like I think it's a very tenuous situation. He's been better, but he hasn't been exactly great. Could you go to the Giants? My guess, though, is the Jets make, to me, the most sense. The Jets are the team. Also a dark horse, Tennessee. Tennessee needs better.
Because obviously they screwed up with Malik. Because if you sign Joshua Dobbs off the street, and that's like an indictment on your guy. Like, yeah, we can't even trust him to go out there and do a couple of things.
Right.
That was pretty bad that you made that kind of an investment and that kid can't even help you out at all. Yeah, no, the Titans are ready to compete right now. That's actually a really good one, dude.
Yeah, I mean the Titans make a ton of sense. Like you have a team like the Saints who have no cap space but seemingly find it every year. I mean, when you go to the Saints, so I think there's a lot of moving parts there. But to me, if you said to me who's the best fit, I think it's the Jets. I think the Jets are the team that if you put him in there and you add a few more pieces on offense, like that's a pretty good team. Are they the Bills, Bengals, Chiefs? No, but are they like maybe on the next level? Yeah, they probably could be. So,
right.
I like that. And he gives you a couple of years where you can kind of build the program up, be good, and then go make your big swing if you want to. Then go try to trade up and get your guy for the next 15 years. I think that makes sense.
The screwed up part about the Carr thing is that while you would love for him to get cut and then you can then negotiate a new contract with him, that new contract may not be as friendly as the one you're going to inherit. And so it's really interesting because if you want to inherit, because I'm looking at it right now in 2023, he's got a $32.9 million base salary with only $100,000 workout. So it's a $33 million hit. In 24, it's a $41.9 million base salary, 100K hit, $42 million cap it. You can rework it in that second year to then extend it out. So you either inherit the current contract, Matt, or you wait and he gets cut, then you have to negotiate a new contract, which then you can make a cap-friendly first-year salary. There's no doubt about that, and then rework the rest. But he's probably going to ask for more money then at that point. So do you inherit this contract but give up compensation, or do you risk it and say, well, I'll wait till he gets released and then sign him to a fresh contract? How do you attack that?
I would probably lowball the hell out of the Raiders with an offer and see if I could. I mean, I'd be like, look, I'm going to give you a 3rd round pick. That's it. That's what I give. That's what I'll give you. And
they're going to take anything instead of cutting him. You're right.
That's right. Right. Like because to me, a 3rd round pick for a quarterback of Carr's caliber is worth the insurance, right? Like I'm willing to do that, but I'd be like, listen, I'm not giving you anything better than that. I'm not. You're getting one day 2 pick, back half, middle of the 3rd round, and take it or leave it because you're cutting them otherwise. So wait a minute.
Hold on. I just thought about this. They're going to get a compensatory pick, and it'll be a 3rd rounder because they drafted him in the first.
Not if they release him.
Oh no, they don't get the compensation.
Only
they don't
get as a free agent when his contract expires. Not if they cut him. They get nothing.
Oh, okay.
They get nothing.
Good job by you. Okay.
So if I'm the Raiders and we're on Valentine's Day, I'd be like, you know what? Sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like you said, it's better than nothing. Like you walk away, get a top 100 pick. Like, and if you're the Jets, then you also know that you're getting him for sure. You don't have to worry about free agency and what. And I've seen people say, well, that's a bad contract. It's not that bad of a contract. If you look at the deal, it's really not that bad. Like quarterbacks in the league now, I mean, Kyler Murray's getting over $40 million a year. Who would you rather have, Derek Carr or Kyler Murray?
God.
Give me Carr. So
that's a cancer of a contract.
I mean, right? Like, who would you rather have? And I think people like honestly. I mean, Big O, how much of a difference is there between Derek Carr and Dak Prescott?
Oh, I think Derek Carr's better.
Like, I mean, you could really you could argue that, and I might even agree with you. Like, Dak's making $40 million a year.
Yeah.
So if you're getting Derek Carr,
that's the going rate for a franchise quarterback.
yeah,
Now.
if you're getting Derek Carr from mid-30s, you're barely paying him more than Tannehill's getting paid.
Exactly.
It's not a bad contract. Not at all.
No, that's why you trading for him, I think, as long as you have the cap space. And actually, you could trade for him and then rework the deal if you want to kind of loosen up some money if you feel like it and all that stuff, because you're inheriting the contract. You can then rework it after that if you want to do it, if you're desperate for some cash. So it's not a big deal. But when Sean handed me the salary, I was like, okay, yeah, you got to trade for him because you're going to get a cheap salary that first year, believe it or not, because like you just mentioned, the going rate is $40 to $50 million for a franchise quarterback. It's no less than 40 for real franchise guys. And then the elite guys are getting all the way, your guy's over 50, right? Or 50 or whatever?
He's at $45 million a year.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Which, by the way, is insane when you consider he's signed for 9 more years. So by the time we get to the middle of that contract, I mean, there's going to be league average quarterbacks going for $50 million a year.
Bargain.
Yeah, it worked out okay. But it'll be interesting. I think Carr. There's going to be a lot of veteran quarterback. I mean, Wentz is going to be out there. Carr's. Now I don't know if he gets another starting job. But you know what, man? It is amazing to me. The more I'm around the league and around it's amazing to me how many guys can watch a player fail here, there, everywhere, and go, you know what? I can fix that guy. And let's give him $35 million to come in here. Let me fix him. It's like he's not good. I don't care that he throws the ball with a lot of velocity. He stinks. Yeah, but I can fix it. Okay.
What happened to him, bro? He was an MVP caliber quarterback the first couple of years. He was doing stuff out there that you were like jaw dropping.
Yeah.
And then he lost his mojo.
He got hurt.
And he got hurt a whole bunch of times. And then he just never it sucked the life out of him, all those injuries. Because I know he's very religious and all those kind of things. And you just wonder, there's a reason why, and you've been around it like I have for a while. There's a reason why football people will tell you, no, I want a guy that loves football.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
I will say this. I think a lot of it had to do with that injury. He was never the same guy after that. But I also think he's had a tough time relating to people in the room.
Yeah.
That's not, I'll put it this way. That's not just my opinion.
It's God squatters always have this issue. You have to be smart enough to not force it on people.
Sure.
Like Mark Brunell and Kurt Warner were God squatters, bro. Big time God squatters, but they didn't force it on anybody.
I think.
And they weren't it wasn't like an open thing about their lives to everybody about everything. You know what I mean? Like, you got to hear the stories about this guy at the club. That's just the way it goes, bro. You're going to have to hear this story about this guy banging this other one or whatever, and you're going to have to relate to guys. Because when you walk into that locker room, there's all kinds of characters, dude. And you've got to learn to be able to relate to those people. And if you think you're above that because of your religion or whatever it is, that's going to hurt in the way you communicate with people and get the max out of them, because you're a leader. You need to do that. And it's been a weird situation with him.
You're right. I mean, you can get away with it if you're the left guard, right? But if you're the quarterback and you have to lead the team, you have to be the leader of the entire team and not just a subset of it. And I think with Wentz, it was eye-opening, I think, what happened in Indianapolis. When he goes there and they won 9 games, they fell apart at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, man. I was in Indy for the combine, like I am every year, and I was standing there, and on one side of me, because if you've ever been in the room, it's a convention hall, and they just have podium after podium after podium. Right. I was standing in between Chris Ballard and Brett Veach, who were doing their podium simultaneously. So I'm talking to a couple of colleagues of mine, and we're listening into the 2 different guys, who's saying what. And Ballard, by NFL standards, just basically laid into Wentz, like during the middle of this thing. It was like, I don't know if we want him back. I'm not paraphrasing, but basically it was like, we don't know if we want him back. Right. It's been a problem. To say that when you haven't even traded the guy is just I remember we all kind of like slowly turned and looked at Ballard and we're like, we'll put Veach on the back burner for 5 minutes. Let's listen to this. And it was incredible. I remember writing about it and just thinking like
Ron Rivera this year, bro.
Right. I mean, when you're in an organization, let's face it with the NFL treats this like it's the CIA. Okay. Every team treats every little bit of information like it is national security. And for these teams to come out and just be like, yeah, he's a problem. I mean, the Colts were willing to move on from him, not knowing who the quarterback was going to be. Right. Like they were like, we will trade him. And if Sam Ehlinger's the quarterback, fine. And then Matt Ryan fell into their laps because of the Deshaun Watson situation. Okay.
And it's the guy that coached him in Philly.
Yeah. Right. And right. I mean, it's just, but my point is, I think, Carr's certainly going to be out there. Wentz is going to be out there. Mayfield's going to be out there. Some team's going to talk themselves into giving Mayfield a shot. You're going to have all these guys. Matt Ryan probably going to be out there again. I think at this point, Matt Ryan is over. It's over.
Retire, bro.
Yeah, it's over. Nick Foles over. Retire.
Phenomenal career. Retire, dude.
Yeah,
you've done it.
Exactly. But you're going to have guys out there, and you know as well as I do, like you're going to get some team that just talks themselves into it because, well, he's got an arm. He's got a pedigree. He was a number 2 overall pick. He was a number 1 overall pick in Mayfield's case. Like some team will do it. I don't think Geno's getting to the market. I think he'll stay in Seattle. And that's probably, and then of course, by the way, I left out the most important. You have Brady, who what's going on with him? And where's he?
Raiders, everybody thinks because of Josh McDaniel.
I'll give you one though that I cannot believe is not talked about more. If the Niners fall short in the playoffs, you're going to tell me they're not making that phone call because of Brock Purdy and Trey Lance? You kidding me? Yeah. Like he grew up there. He's a fan of the team. Like, right. And if you're Brady, I'm sorry. The Raiders or the Niners? Who do you want to play for?
It's not even close.
Come on.
Brady has to do less to win with the Niners than he does with the Raiders.
Brady can stand around for 4 months, and then when the playoffs come, earn his check for 3 weeks. I mean, let's be honest. Hand the ball off, watch the defense give up 10 points, and hey, we've got Kyler, Geno, and Matt Stafford will win the division going away. You go to the AFC West, you got to deal with Mahomes and Herbert, and then, by the way, you have all the other quarterbacks in the conference. You got Burrow, you got Allen, you got Lawrence emerging. Yeah, I mean, to me, if the Niners even are remotely interested, that's where I would think you would go. But yeah, the Raiders, because of McDaniels, there's that tie-in.
I'm with you there. All right, let's go over some of the games. Your thoughts on it. Seattle and the Niners. Niners all the way. Niners are by 9.5. What are you doing there?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time seeing Seattle win that game. Seattle has scored 13 total points in 2 games against San Francisco on offense, and 10 of those points were in garbage time. So I don't know, man.
I think they cover. I think the Niners
cover too.
The number.
Yeah, I think they cover too. I think it's probably around the number. I think it's like 24-13 or something. But the only thing is it's going to rain like hell there on Saturday, so maybe that makes it a little interesting. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they cover. I just don't see a case for Seattle going in there and winning that game unless the Niners just turn over a bunch of times.
By the way, breaking news, Teron Armstead is practicing for the Miami Dolphins. Wow.
There you go.
He has not played a non-Tua game.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Every time Bridgewater or Skyler have to start, he doesn't play the game. And, and so he's back at practice. That's a huge sign that if he's at practice today, he's playing for sure on Sunday. There's no reason for him to practice if he wasn't going to play. He's got like 4 injuries, dude.
I gotta be honest, I'm shocked.
He just told us 2 days ago that he needs surgery, but he's holding it off to the end of the year. So, that's, crazy. All right. Chargers minus 2.5 versus the Jags. No Mike Williams. What do you think about that one? Because I would not be surprised if the Jags win this game.
I thought the Jaguars were going to win this game before Mike Williams got hurt. I think they're going to win it now. Look, here, 2 reasons. I'll be succinct. 1, the Jaguars have a good coach. The Chargers don't have a coach. That's number 1. Number 2, Jacksonville's game play, the way they play, is a nightmare for the Chargers. It's a bunch of short, quick passes, and it's running the ball. And the Chargers can't stop anybody from running the football. And those quick passes will take Bosa and Mack out of the game. And it's just going to be one of these games that's going to dink and dunk and run the ball. And the Chargers now without Williams, like, you double Allen and what else? What do you care about?
And you got a mobile quarterback just in case for Bosa too. So that's
right. By the way, one stat that I looked up or unearthed or whatever you want to say that's wild in my opinion. So Eckler had 107 receptions this year. Of anybody who's had that many catches or more in a single season, only Jarvis Landry, former Dolphins great, was under 1,000 yards for the year. He had 987.
Right, yeah.
Eckler had 722. That's impossible. Like, only 4 catches that went for over 20 yards and none for more than 23. So basically, it's like, yes, he's going to catch a bunch of passes. They will go for 6 yards at play. Like, that's what it is. So if you're Jacksonville, you're like, we're going to double Allen and nothing else is happening. Like, they're not beating us any other way. They can't run the ball. So I think Jacksonville is going to win the game. I think the Chargers are more talented when they're healthy, but I don't know that they're healthy. Williams obviously is not. I like Jacksonville at home to win the game.
All right. Sunday, we got Giants and Vikings. The two teams I don't trust. Where do we go?
Yeah, that game is the game, that if you told me anything happened, I'd believe it. Anything.
Over 48 is what I like about this game.
No question. I would take over 55, I think, in this game. The Vikings can't stop anybody. But the Giants also, while they are somewhat capable defensively, they're not going to be able to cover Jefferson and Thielen and Hawkinson. So I think it's a really high-scoring game. I think that it's 31-28, something like that. I know it's a trendy thing. I'm going to pick the Giants. I think the Giants are just playing better. The Vikings are just a mess in a lot of these games. I know they find a way to win them, give them credit, but I think the bell tolls midnight on them.
Yeah, and then that's usually what happens to those teams that are eking by all those wins.
Yep.
In the key moment when it comes to the season at the end, that's the one close game that they don't get over the hump. Ravens and Bengals. This is not even going to be a game. Bengals are favored by 9.5. What do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna surprise you with this. And I think the Bengals are playing the best ball maybe in football. They're gonna win the game. I think the Ravens are gonna cover that game. I think the Ravens are going to drag that game into the mud. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense. They're going to turn that into a physical rock fight. That's what that game, I wouldn't be surprised. We're sitting in the fourth quarter and you're like, how is this game 19-13 right now?
Right.
Well, because the Ravens can cover and they can get after the quarterback. The one concern I have in this game, the Bengals don't have the right side of the offensive line in this game. That could be a problem. Like, that could be where, if you're the Ravens, you just relentlessly go after it. I think they will win. I just can't see Tyler Huntley winning this game. But I could see a world where the Bengals win, but they win by a touchdown.
Okay. By the way, they do have Red Recover's own Hayden Hurst.
That is true.
Right? So we got to go Bengals here. All right, Monday, 8:15. It's the Cowboys and the Bucks, and the Cowboys are favored by 2.5. And the Bucks have had that terrible, weird season and all that stuff. But dude, and the Cowboys are better, but can I trust them?
You and I are going to say the same thing. Yep, we're going to say the exact same thing. I have spent all week defending myself, and I've gone on the radio, made this decision. I am taking Tampa Bay to win this game. There's no logical reason that Tampa should win this football game. They have been awful all year.
Right.
Their coaching is horrible. They're a mess. And yet, I look across the field, and I see the star, and I say to myself, if there's ever a team that will turn the ball over twice, that will miss a field goal, that'll take a dozen penalties, that'll mismanage the clock, and it'll just leave the ball in Brady's hands with 2 minutes to go, and the Cowboys are up by 4, you're like, that's the game. That is 100% the game. I think the Bucs will win, and I'll go one further. I think McCarthy will be out as their head coach if they lose that game within 48 hours.
That makes sense.
I don't care what Jerry Jones says because he loves Sean Payton. They're best friends, and I think Sean Payton would be on the hotline immediately in Dallas.
Oh, God. Does Sean want to work with him? God.
Yes.
Will he get in his way? That's the thing. Oh, man. Maybe, you know what? With Sean, maybe he'll give him a little bit more free reign because he'll trust him.
He's exceedingly close to Sean Payton.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like that. All right. And the final one, the most painful one of them all, Bills are favored by 13.5 against our Dolphins. Over and unders 43.5. How ugly will it be, Matt Verderam?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking the Bills to cover this game. Skylar Thompson is just not going to win this game.
Dude, a couple of days ago, before Wednesday morning, I come on the air, right? And the line is 9.
Yes.
And I told everybody, bet the Bills now. If you love the Bills, do it now. Don't wait till the Tua announcement, because if Tua is not going to play, the line is going to jack up. And sure enough, so whoever took it at 9 earlier in the week, oh my God, what a bargain! Bro.
Congratulations. If Teddy was even playing, I would take the Dolphins to cover. I'd be like, you know what? He's a professional quarterback. Like, he could keep it within 10 points, whatever. I will say this though: if you're a Dolphins fan, you want to have some hope. I just published and wrote and tweeted out a piece about 12 playoff games in NFL history since the 70 merger that have had like crazy quarterback upsets, like absolutely like Wade Wilson beating Joe Montana in the 87 playoffs. Okay. And like Tim Tebow beating Ben Roethlisberger. Crazy things have happened before like this, but yes, I mean to pick it would be insane.
They're too injury riddled, bro. That's the thing also about the Dolphins. Not just Tua being out, which obviously they're a completely different team with Tua than the other two guys, but they also are missing so many guys on this team. Brother, if you're going to beat the Bills, you got to be pretty close to fully healthy to beat those Bills.
Do you view it as a successful season for the Dolphins?
No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, because you won 9 or 10 with flow. So you got your offensive coach who then got you Tyreek and Teron Armstead and Connor Williams and Wilson and Mostert and all this stuff. They added everything for you. So I said at the beginning of the year, you need to win 11 or 12 for me in order for this to be a successful season. The only way it can be a successful season, winning on Sunday. That's it. That's the only way that it's a successful season, because winning 9 games for me in a 17-game schedule when you inherited a 9 or 10 win team that had no offense, that doesn't impress me. That's my problem with it. So I can't call this a successful season unless you beat the Bills on Sunday. Then I'll say, all right, dude, you made up for it.
If they beat the Bills on Sunday, hey, it's a great year.
Bigger upset. Them beating the Bills on Sunday. Rex Chapman scoring 39 with the Heat having 8 guys after the Alonzo Mourning trade. No Zoe. And here comes Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and Rex Chapman scores 39 to beat them. Is it the 03 Marlins? Now, they did get to a World Series, so that's not flukish already at that point. They were the hottest team from May, but they did beat the Yankees in their $200 million payroll, or the 83 Canes. Now, they weren't the dynasty team at that point. That was the beginning of it, but they got there, and they were facing the big, bad Nebraska Cornhuskers, who were the monsters of the Midway in those days. And then I'm trying to come up with the biggest South Florida upsets in history, and this might be the number one.
How about the 96 Panthers getting another Stanley Cup final?
Well, getting there, but they got their asses.
They did get their asses kicked, but they got there, which is pretty incredible.
No, I know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, but again, you know hockey. They had a goaltender that was just out of his freaking mind. The Beezer was just on his head, blocking everything. I covered that team. I was in the locker rooms for all of that. And man, Beezer was they did have a good defense. They couldn't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse. There's no doubt about that. I'm with you there. But they did have a hell of a defense that they would not allow you to score, man, with that clutch and grab defense.
No, they were. That was back in the NHL's days where you could tackle some guy and it was like, it's all right. Believe me, I'm a Devils fan. We invented that defense. By the way,
you know about hot goaltending because you had a hot goaltender for years and years and years and years.
20 years. Yeah, and then he retired and he sucked forever. But by the way, I see the shirt. You going to the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, man, I go every year. I didn't go the last 2 years because of the pandemic.
Sure.
I haven't gone to the Combine the last 3 years because of the pandemic. Now I'm back on the road again, so I'll be going to the Senior Bowl at the end of the month. And I'll go to you'll be at the Senior Bowl?
I'll be there.
Oh, we'll hang then, man. We'll hang.
Be there all week. I'll be there. Combine, Glendale, the draft. I'm traveling, man, this time of year. So
I love it. I love it.
Make it
We'll see
happen.
each other. All right, man. I like it. So yeah, so you got the Bills minus 13. I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame anybody. I
I'd love to see a competitive game. I just like look. There's one way the Dolphins can win this game. I mean this genuinely. It's Tyreek Hill or Waddle just having one of those games where every time the ball's in their hands, it just turns into a race down the sideline or something. Which that can happen. Like there have been that. It's going to have to be that, and the defense is going to have to make some turnovers happen. It's just going to, I mean, they're going to have to pick Allen off. They're going to have to force a fumble. The one thing for the Dolphins and the Ravens, I think is true this week, because nobody thinks you can win. You have a certain freedom to play very loose.
Amen.
Like if you're McDaniel and on the opening kickoff, you do an onside kick, who the hell's going to blame you for it?
Nobody.
Right. So like you can play in a way that like the other team can't. Like the Bills can't do that. The Bills are not going to have an onside kick to start the game. Nobody's going to kill the Dolphins for going for it on 4th and 7 at their own 40. Like nobody's going to kill them for it. If you lose by 50, what the hell's the difference? It's a playoff game. You're not going to one or 50. It doesn't matter. So I think if you're the Dolphins, you can do some of that stuff. Like you can just say, we're gonna do some weird, like I would have told Tyreek Hill this week, you're getting the ball 20 to 25 times this week. If we have to hand off to you 10 times, throw to you 15 times, like it's a playoff game. I don't care. We're paying you $30 million a year. You're going to see the ball plenty. Like him and Waddle, and I'd get the ball in their hands. By the way, Mostert, he's healthy for this game?
No, man. He's going to try. He's done. He fractured his thumb, bro. You can't hold on to the ball. It's done.
Has he been ruled out?
Yeah, he hasn't been ruled out, but he's done, bro.
I knew he was hurt.
Play with a fractured thumb at running back, dude. The defense knows you have a fractured thumb. Good luck under those piles.
Yeah, well,
have fun.
I knew he was hurt, and so I couldn't remember like if he was ruled in or not. I was having a brain cramp. But you know what? If I'm the Dolphins,
like, defensive tackle reaching into that and going, "Hey, hi, Raheem, how you doing?" And like that, just in the middle of the pile. Yeah, these people are sons of you know what in those piles. You know that. You know what they do in those piles. Yeah, bad.
There's no safe space under the pile.
No, none. And your privates are all exposed in those piles.
I've thought about writing an article about like asking people like what happens underneath the pile, and I've asked a handful of players, and they're always like, "Bro, I can't even give you an honest description of that."
I've heard fingers and rears and
everything.
And finger in an ear hole and poke the eye and gouge them however you can, stack them in the neck to make them loosen the ball or whatever. Because once you're in that pile, the refs can't see everything going on. So you're trying to fight for your guy and trying to loosen up that ball. And that thing changes hands 2 or 3 times sometimes down there before they actually find out who has it. So, yeah, they've told me all the things that they're like, bro, I don't care what I have to do to that guy to make him, release it. If I got to rub my whatever in his face, I'll do it. They'll do it. They don't care. It's really, really nasty in those piles, dude.
Yeah, they are.
All right, tell them about Stacking the Box, my man.
Check it out every Tuesday at noon Eastern live on YouTube, or you can just find it wherever you get your podcast. Download it there and subscribe if you could. Really would appreciate it. The column comes out every Monday morning, covers the entire league. And then, like I said, I've got a piece up right now, 12 of the greatest quarterback-based upsets in NFL playoff history. And if you're a Dolphin fan, you should read it. Give you some hope. There's some crazy ones. Like, listen, Mark Malone once beat John Elway in Denver in a playoff game.
Yeah.
These things do happen. So
it happens. We got to the Super Bowl with Woodstock, right?
Jay Fiedler beat Peyton Manning.
There you go.
It happens. Right. It happens.
That's right.
Keep the faith.
Yeah, there you go. You never know. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. And, of course, catch him, as always, doing his thing right here with us with our redrecover.com huddle. Matt, have a great weekend. Hope the daughter gets better, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks a lot, Big O. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Matt Verderam, we step out of the huddle.
This has been The Huddle with NFL reporter Matt Verderam. RedRecover.com helps pros and everyday warriors heal on the go with their medical-grade, highly specialized devices designed for each area of the body. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being.
All right, Woo Gala making a nice second run here. It's up 13.5%. Love it. I love it. I love it. And Bitcoin over 19 solidly right now. I like that. Boy, this is good. What do you got for us, my man?
All right. So apparently some intern at the Four Letter Network made their boss very upset.
Uh-oh. What happened?
They made him dig up Skylar Thompson's stats.
Oh, God.
For this season. Among 47 QBs with 100 attempts. And I was going to do this during Matt's thing, but then when he went to the article about quarterbacks and I was like, let me wait till it's over. Skylar Thompson, among 47 quarterbacks with 100 attempts. Total QBR, 27.3. Where do you think he ranks?
Oh, God. Close to dead last, if not dead
45th.
last. Yeah.
Completion percentage, 57%. 46th.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yards per attempt, 5.1, dead last.
Just watch him.
TDs to interceptions, 1-3, tied for last.
Yeah. McDaniel makes it sound like he's accomplished this amazing feat, and he's shown nothing. Nothing at all.
But also at this point, why not, like Matt said, though? Why not just be like, screw it at this point? You're not expected to win. Just go out. Skylar should be able to play kind of looser because you're not expected to win. You're expected to get blown out, honestly.
I personally think he's playing for a roster spot next year. I don't think he's earned.
Hopefully he doesn't know that and he can play a little loose because I think
I know. I hope
we're going to get the Jets, Skylar Thompson. If we get that, it's not going to be pretty.
I hope he does know it because then he's got to say, I got to drop my BBs and I got to start playing better. And I'm sorry, man. I want it to work, but I'm not going to sit here and force the issue, and I'm not going to believe what Mike McDaniel sells on the podium. I know what he's doing. He's got to talk up his players, but I see what I see from Skylar, and there's nothing there. He's not a backup next year. Unless he does something miraculous on Sunday, nothing he's done this year warrants him coming back to be a number 2, and I would very much question number 3. As I told you guys, I would rather you go draft another quarterback in the second or third rounds, a pretty high one, and develop him as my third guy, have a veteran in like an Andy Dalton, a Joe Flacco, whatever, as a number 2 behind Tua, and then develop the third kid that has serious potential, okay? Not a super long project like you did in the 7th round that, so far just shows you preseason is preseason. This is a whole different ballgame. And now the playoffs, oh, my God. That kid really has to show it, man. Yep, there's a chance. There's a chance. Heat, by the way, tomorrow against Milwaukee at 1 o'clock. Is that weird or what? Yeah, but the problem, the good thing about it, I was going to say, is that at least I get to watch that, and then the playoff games don't start till 4. So that's the cool thing. The Panthers lost to the Golden Knights 4-2 last night. They're so disappointing. They just drive me crazy, really. I can't tell you enough about the Panthers. On the Tua front, let me explain something to you all out there, and I got into it yesterday on Twitter last night. Look, Tua's issues have been injuries throughout his career, okay? And personally, I didn't even realize that in the hip injury, he did have a concussion in that one. But I went back to look at it, and when 2 fat guys that are 300 pounds are falling on you, I can see how you're also getting, besides your hip, you're getting concussed too and all that. But concussions really haven't been an issue for him, okay? But somehow or another, he needs to lighten up and understand that if a fat ass of 300 pounds can catch up to you, you can't move, dude. Find your man in the pocket and get rid of the ball. I don't want you scrambling around. I don't want you holding the ball for 4 or 5 seconds. Tua is his own worst enemy.
He has to learn how to take care of his body and the football and the team. And he has to understand what he means to his family, what he means to the team, what it means to the organization, what it means to winning and losing. He's got to take care of himself. But for all of you out there, I know, listen, those of you that didn't think he could play, most of you are on the injury thing now because you're all wrong. So since you're all wrong, now you're going to ride this. And since none of us track whatever the hell you say, we don't know that you were also wrong because you said he couldn't play. But Tua's issues have always been injuries, not concussions. So conveniently, we forget this year that he didn't suffer any physical injuries. It was all head trauma. Okay? And I know he had the one with the hip, but really, head trauma wasn't an issue in his college career. And it wasn't an issue in his first 2 years in the NFL. It was this year. And I've talked about it over and over again on how and why it happens, because he hangs onto the ball 4 to 5 seconds, and you can't do that in the NFL. So just to give you a little, maybe you can calm down a little bit. The young man stayed away from physical injuries this season. No broken bones, no torn ligaments, nothing. Did not happen. All the shit that's happened to him throughout Alabama and the first 2 years in the NFL did not happen this year. This year was about head trauma, and it could be avoided by not hanging on to the football. And so if you really look at it, if he learns how to play a disciplined game from in the pocket, and I wish they would show him a film of Marino. Marino wasn't scrambling around. Marino wasn't holding onto the ball 5 seconds or 4 seconds. Marino made a quick decision and got rid of it. I hope they show him Drew Brees. He wasn't running around. He made a quick decision in the pocket, and it was over. You know, plenty of those quarterbacks have survived in this league when they have the intelligence to be able to read the defense and react quickly. It's a luxury to be able to run around, but it's also a detriment because it also puts you at risk. Because as you watch all these running quarterbacks, they all get injured. Every single one of the running quarterbacks get injured. So as you're talking about Tua, well, remember, running quarterbacks also get injured. Now, if you're as tall as Josh Allen, you'll be able to take some punishment like Cam Newton did for a while. Eventually, that punishment will catch up to you. So for all of you out there talking about injuries and panicking and everything, think about it, okay? It's something that's prevalent in the game, and it happens to all kinds of quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo misses way more games than Tua Tagovailoa every single season, pretty much. Lots of guys miss time. Running quarterbacks, as you've noticed, they all miss time also. I mean, Lamar Jackson's in the middle of missing more games than Tua this year, right? And there's more of that to come if he doesn't learn how to pass from the pocket and he wants to keep running. Well, there'll be more patellas and ACLs and LCLs and MCLs that will be torn apart. Not that I'm wishing on it, but I saw Cam Newton. I've seen Tim Tebow. You watch Justin Fields. You watch Lamar Jackson. It doesn't matter who you are. They're going to break you down. The key is to win from the pocket. It has always been the key to win from the pocket. Tua did a really good job of avoiding physical injuries this year. Unfortunately, he had some head trauma this year. And if you think about it, if he doesn't hold on to the football in the Bengals and in the Green Bay game, we're only talking about Buffalo, and it was never looked at as a concussion. And by the way, he never left that game. He came back in the second half and won that game. So if he hangs on to the ball, he doesn't live to play the next play, the next series, the next game. If he learns how to get rid of the ball, this year he stayed away from physical injuries. He can stay away from head trauma too. But he's got to do what I keep saying. And I hope Mike McDaniel makes a 7,000 clip tape of Dan Marino throwing the ball away and getting rid of the ball quickly. Oh, and also show that Dan Marino was never scrambling around. You might have seen Dan in his really young days when he had the locks coming out and maybe he'd roll out a little bit and throw a ball. Dan really didn't have to live. And it's like what I tell Marcel. You don't have to live from that. You have to live from the pocket. And the reason why Jalen Hurts is excelling, why? He's winning from the pocket. The reason why Lamar Jackson is out and injured is because he can't win from the pocket. The reason why Justin Fields keeps getting injured is because he can't win from the pocket. Tua can win from the pocket. But you got to win from the pocket the right way. And that's his key right there. He learns how to play the game intelligently, protects his body. He will protect his future. He will protect his career. And he will be there for his family and his football team. Oh, and by the way, for you, the fans out there. I get it. We're in panic mode. Everybody's running around. I want Tom Brady. I want this guy. I want that guy. This, that, whatever. And, some of you never believed in Tua anyway. So I get everything that's going on here. But you can waste your time if you want talking about all this stuff. And I want Tom Brady and I want Aaron Rodgers and this and that. None of that's going to happen. They're moving forward with Tua. The plan is Tua. Now what you got to do is build it even better around him. Keep building it better around him like any quarterback. And at the same time, find a better backup plan. And who knows? If Skyler does not perform on Sunday, go find yourself another young quarterback. That might be the thing to do. All right. Yeah, show him Joe Montana. Well, although they did a lot of rollouts with Joe. They did a lot of boots and waggles with Joe. Okay? That I do remember. So where are we at right now? Where are we at? Are we over 19 still? Oh, 19, almost 300. 19,291. Bitcoin up 2.65% in the last day. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I like it a lot. I remember that song. What was her name? It's good one. Let me see. Ooh, Aptos up to still 30%. That thing is. Any of you invested in Aptos? You're loving life right now, man. That is nice. I don't know what Frax share is, but it's up 15%. Just looking at the cryptocurrency market and just trying. Gala's up 12%. Just trying to see the real big ones that are skyrocketing right now in crypto. The whole market's pretty much green. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Do the Chiefs, Chargers, Bills have a good backup? Answer is no. You should have a starter that can stay healthy and not need a backup. Everybody needs a backup. So that's all good for you. How's San Francisco working with a backup? Taylor Heineke came off the bench and won several games as a backup. Kind of put some holes in your argument there, huh? Yeah. They started out with Jameis Winston. Andy Dalton almost got him to the playoffs in that crappy division. Backup. Yeah. Yeah, that's that comment of yours not really going very far. What else? Wait, one more. There's one more that I'm thinking about right now. It's another backup that's helping out. I'm trying to remember who it is now. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. It was a backup. By the way, the MILF Monster wasn't doing anything, and the other guys actually did better for him than the MILF Monster, but that's not the example. There's somebody I'm missing. I know it. I'm missing somebody, a backup that came in and helped out. BitBop 66. Unfortunately, Big O, there are now two camps of detractors. Media for Pocket QB and QB continually extend plays. Yeah, I know. I'm going to invest in tulip bulbs. Well, they're cute. NFL teams used to carry 3 QBs on the active roster. If you keep Tua, may have to do that. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Big O, you said it. Have the intelligence to get rid of it. Tua has never shown that. Remember what he said to Saban after the INT in the national championship game, chasing highlights. Change Tua. There you go. Huh? Oh, Kenny Pickett? Yeah, they started with Trubisky. And then the rookie came in and did way better than Trubisky. There you go. That's a nice one. Almost got him into the playoffs. They were eligible for the playoffs all the way to the end of the second to last week or last week. They still had some kind of a chance. So backups are important, man. You do need a backup to kind of, sometimes keep you afloat, or sometimes your backup becomes even better than your starter.
I think if the Dolphins would have lost that game, they were in.
Yes, that's right.
The Dolphins would have lost the kick.
The Steelers would have gotten in. That's right, because the Patriots lost and the Steelers had won that game. Right.
Yep, down to the Dolphins.
I was a Kenny Pickett guy. So I'm not surprised that he started to turn the corner. When he was starting off so badly, I was like, relax. He's young. Give him some time. And all you had to do was watch him in Pittsburgh. Kid's got moxie, man. I really like Pickett. That was a nice selection by Pittsburgh. They did a good job there. It's a good one to build on. Let me see if I got anything on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo, and we do. John Geeb, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. He says, regardless of Tua's availability issues, I'm truly baffled how quick our fellow Fins fans are so quick to jump ship on Tua. Miami fans are quick to forget about the last 20-odd years of QB play. It's like they think this is Madden and you could just go get whomever you want. John, you obviously have, some common sense here. But I got to tell you, when it comes to fans in general, doesn't matter what team it is, half of them really don't know what the hell they're doing. Half of them really don't know what they're talking about. Half of them really don't follow and understand everything and anything about the business, the game itself, what's actually going on. Half of them are completely lost. And by the way, I would go with about a third of the media. Having been in this business for 33 years now, I would tell you about a third of the media doesn't know what the hell is going on either. Because they're lazy. They just repeat what others do. They don't really follow the game the way they're supposed to. So I would tell you that there's a portion of the media that's also just, absolutely garbage. Most of it comes from the electronic side, not as much on the writing side. Okay? Few writers, but not many. But mostly it's TV, it's radio, it's all those kind of things where you've got a lot of media that's just lazy. Okay? Unfortunately. So Teron Armstead practicing. That's good for Skyler, man. If he plays. That'll be cool. Give Skyler a chance. Give him that for this game and see if he can do something. God, I would love for Skyler to wow me with something this weekend and play well. That would be fantastic. I hope I don't see the Skyler we've seen all year long because that has just not been, So, how many teams in the playoffs are starting with backups? The percentage is way too low. Yes, you need a backup, but available, competent starter is the key to winning. How many backups won a championship? Jeff Hostetler won a championship. He was a backup. Nick Foles won a championship. He was a backup. Let's see. There's probably a couple more that we forget recently. Come on. There's got to be another one or two. Trying to remember the backup situation. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know there's a couple times that it happens where you do get the backup to come in and he rocks it. I mean, Nick Foles, that's like ridiculous. Well, Brady was a backup. You are right.
I was gonna say I just looked up an article. It had Tom Brady.
Yeah, Brady
Kurt
was a
Warner.
Kurt Warner was a
Came in
backup.
for
They
Trent
started
Green.
with Mushbrain Trent Green.
Yeah.
And Kurt Warner came in and became the greatest show on turf.
Doug Williams.
Oh, Doug Williams. Yep. The backup.
Wait a minute. That was a win, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, because they got wins, and this is getting to the Super Bowl. Because Colin Kaepernick also was a backup,
Yeah, but
he
he
had a
didn't get
loss
there.
in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And this was written, I guess, when Nick Foles was going.
Wait,
because
I'm sorry.
He's got the
The
question
backup
mark.
still got you to the Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer was a backup
And
when he
won.
his Super Bowl.
That's right.
Jeff Hostetler, which you mentioned.
There's a Hostetler.
Roger Staubach, if we're going to go back a ways.
Really? He was a backup that year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Craig Morton was the primary quarterback.
Oh, that's
in
right.
71.
That's right. That's before they traded him to Denver to throw to Rick Upchurch.
Jim Plunkett.
Rick Upchurch, huh? Huh, you Bronco fans out there? That's for you, baby.
Jim Plunkett was a backup.
Jim Plunkett throwing the loaves of bread. So I guess your backup theory just got shot. You know what?
And somebody who's very
luckily I'm here and I'm not in studio. But
and
yeah,
somebody very dear to us, Earl Morrall.
Oh,
he
was
had
a
win
backup
and a loss, in the Super Bowl.
and he led you all the way.
So
I guess the backup has kind of played an important role in taking teams to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. Damn, what a concept. Holy crap. Yeah, keep thinking that, you don't need depth everywhere. Look, let's not talk about the backup kicker or the backup punter, but please don't tell me the backup quarterback is not important and that you're going to count on your starting quarterback to be healthy every year, every game, all the time. That's not going to happen. Guys are going to get injured, and you better develop the next guy. You better be ready with the next guy. So you got all kinds of examples there of backups that won or took the team to the damn Super Bowl. All right, we're out of here. We thank Ira Winderman, Manny Navarro, Cameron Wolf, Scott Pianowski, Matt Verderam, and of course, Larry Schlossberg. We got to thank out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. We thank Mr. Zinn, of course, also, and the entire Zinn family supporting our show for many, many years now, 10 years now. It's, no, not 10, 13 years now, I'm sorry. 13 years now that they've been supporting us here on our program. So we appreciate it immensely. We will see you on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We'll get you ready for the Dolphins and the Bills. And on behalf of the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley, I also got to say, Jonathan Cagle, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Jonathan, for bringing this photo to us and giving me this photo of Cater Kohu, Darth Cater, baby, signed and everything. Love it, bro. I'm going to get this thing framed, and I am going to hang it in my studio once I get the frame, and I'll show you guys the frame. But Jonathan Cagle, thank you, man. That is super, super kind of you to make the effort to come out here and drop it off. That is class act, man, class act. And thanks to all of you out there. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Sunday morning. As always, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.